party in Bedfordshire in which a man was stabbed. Bailey Bowen from Brickhill Drive in Bedford is accused of attempting to murder 23-year-old Rhys Bell in Beggery last October. Liam Daniels from Swale Path in Brickhill is charged with inflicting grievous bodily harm with intent on someone else at the party. The crisis engulfing the Liberal Democrats over allegations of sexual harassment against Lord Renard comes to a head in Parliament today. The peer is expected to rejoin the Liberal Democrat group in the Lords in defiance of Nick Clegg's demand that he must first apologise to the women who have complained about his behaviour. Lord Renard, the party's former chief executive, says he hasn't done anything wrong and is threatening to take the issue to the High Court. One of the women who brought allegations against him, Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire, says she is unlikely to remain in the party if he's allowed to take his seat without apologising.
We will see if he rejoins the House of Lords, and it is very much dependent on him rejoining the House of Lords whether I remain a member of the Liberal Democrats. The biggest issue for most of us is that we would like to just get this resolved and move on.
A spacecraft designed to land on a comet with help from the Milton Keynes-based Open University is due to be woken up today. Rosetta has been in hibernation in deep space for more than 2 years, but scientists won't know until early this evening whether it's actually revived. Chris Carr is a Rosetta scientist working at Imperial College London and says the next few hours will be nail-biting.
Absolutely everything does ride on this particular stage of the mission being a success. We have to get control back of the satellite so that we can start it to on its journey to actually rendezvous with the comet.
And the weather, mainly dry with bright or sunny spells, but cold with a high of 7 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Jane. Morning. It's Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's Monday morning. What? Where did that come from? I've had a nuts weekend. It was the boys' birthday party on Sunday. It was insania. Lots coming up on the show today, including a group of disabled people are challenging the bedroom tax, the spare room subsidy, in the Court of Appeal. They say their conditions mean they need their spare rooms more than the average tenant, and the government should cut them some slack. We'll have more on the row over Lib Dem Lord Renard, who's been told to apologise to women who've accused him of sexual harassment, even though it can't be proved he actually did anything wrong. And there'll be some other stuff. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or give me a call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Who's going to be the first caller of the day? Could be you. Let's hope it's not Dennis. What happened to Dennis, John and Sue, that family that used to call in? We may never know. Maybe they'll call in today. Yes, in that order.
The lights are on, but you're not home. Your mind is not your own. Your heart sweats, your body shakes. But a kiss is what it takes. You can't sleep, you can't eat. There's no doubt you're in deep. Your throat is tight, you can't breathe. addicted to love. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Might as well face it, you're addicted to love. The lights are on, but you're not home. Your will is not your own. Your heart sweats, your teeth grind. Another kiss, and you'll be mine. Whoa, you like to think that you're immune to the stuff. Oh yeah. Just closer to the truth to say. Can't get enough, you know you're gonna have to face it. You're addicted to love. Might as well face it. You're addicted to love. Might as well face it. You're addicted to love.
Robert Palmer,
Well, face it. You're addicted to love.
Addict to Love.
Might as well face it. You're addicted to love. Might as well face it. You're addicted to love.
Ah, fun times, fun times. Now, a group of disabled people are set to challenge the government's spare room subsidy or the bedroom tax at the Court of Appeal today. They feel they're being unfairly penalised for living in homes with an extra room because their medical conditions mean they require more space than the average tenant. Or we can speak now to Anne McMurdy from the Public Law Solicitors. She's representing some of today's claimants. Morning, Anne.
Morning.
What can you tell me about your clients and the specific requirements they have?
Well, it varies, really, and in a way that's why we're representing several people, because there are all sorts of disabled people who need more space than these regulations allow them to have. So, for example, it might be somebody who has a need for additional medical equipment, so they need extra space for that, or it might be that somebody, as a result of their disability, unfortunately can't share a bedroom with their partner and they need to sleep in separate rooms. Or it might be, there are other reasons why, as a result of their disability, they can't move. For example, one of our clients has a very, very serious learning disability and is blind, has lived in the accommodation all of her life. And, there's strong medical evidence indicating that she just simply wouldn't be able to understand a new environment if she moved into it, and it would have a significant impact on her. So, those are the kind of cases that we're bringing before the court today to explain that the regulations don't meet these people's needs.
What kind of effect are the changes to the spare room subsidy having on their lives?
I think everyone, first of all, the main thing is everyone's extremely worried about the sort of long-term impact on them. The regulations reduce someone's housing benefit by 14% if you've got one room spare, if you like, and by 25% if you've got two rooms. And obviously over time people are going to find themselves getting into very serious debt. These people are already on state benefits that don't have a lot of money. It's being reduced further. And obviously people are getting rent arrears are going to accrue, and I suppose eventually the real risk is that people are going to lose their homes as a result of this. There's already been research done by various organisations since the regulations came in April, showing that people are going without food, they're going without heating, other basic essentials in order to make sure that they can pay their rent, but that's simply not sustainable on a long-term basis, and I think we are going to face a situation of disabled people being evicted.
Well, you mentioned, I thought that vulnerable people like this were helped either with discretionary payments or just the way they were handled and looked at. Is that not the case?
The government has allocated some funding for what are called discretionary housing payments, but I think the name gives it away. They're discretionary, which means that local authorities can make these payments, but what's clear is the pot of money available doesn't meet all of local need, and all the local authorities are saying, that these are short-term measures, they're not benefit as of right. And obviously the situation for our clients is that they are unfortunately going to remain disabled. They're going to remain needing the extra room, and it's not an adequate response to that simply to say, well, you can have money for the next 6 months, because that doesn't allow them to feel secure in their homes on a long-term basis. And all the local authorities we've had dealings with have said you can have discretionary housing payment, but it's for a fixed and limited period of time. You can come back to us again, but there's no guarantee into the future that we'll be able to pay this. And of course, every year that fund is going to be revised.
Any idea when the Court of Appeal will come back with a judgment, and are you confident that the government could be forced to change its position?
We're really hopeful that, in the court today that we may succeed. We're not going to get a decision straight away. I think it's likely to be a few months, in fact, before we get a decision. As you're aware, the Labour Party have already committed to changing the bedroom tax regime at the next election, but I think between then and now there could be an awful lot of suffering and worry that could be done without if the government reviewed this immediately, which we would urge them to do.
And I appreciate your time this morning, and no doubt we'll talk about this again in the future. That's Anne McMurdy from the Public Law Solicitors. Well, we talk about the bedroom tax, the spare room subsidy, whatever you want to call it, quite a lot. Always keen to get your stories. How far are we into it now? 6 months? Something like that. Someone will tell me. How has it affected your life? 08459 455 555.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
I love how on nearly all of the Beatles ballads, particularly the early ones, Ringo Starr's just still whacking away the drums. There's no subtlety or softness in his playing. Superb.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's quite a foggy start today, especially in Bucks. A little bit busy as well in Bricket Wood. Already looking quite heavy on the North Orbital at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And in Aston Rowan, Chinner Road is still flooded. That's closed between the A40 and Chinner. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Right, it's 6:16 or thereabouts. It's Monday, the 20th of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. In sport, last night's game saw Chelsea beat Manchester United 3-1 and Tottenham beat Swansea, also with the score of 3-1. Coincidence? I think not. The weather today, some bright spells developing but feeling chilly. 08459 455.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every weekday between 12 and 3, I'm here with a little bit of celebrity.
My geography teacher at school resurrected a jazz standard song, which was Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey.
It made me dedicate myself to trying to be better. I always felt that I wasn't quite good enough.
Expert advice.
Absolutely, you've got it. You've nailed it. I am so happy. Thank you.
And loads of really great music.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
We've had a little bit of a Dean Martin vibe at work this morning. You're going to have that vibe as well now. Here we go.
I'm praying for rain in California so the grapes can grow and they can make more wine. And I'm sitting in a honky in Chicago with a broken heart and a woman on my mind. I match the man behind the bar for the jukebox, and the music takes me back to Tennessee. When they ask who's the fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drinker me. I came here last week from down in Nashville, 'cause my baby left for Florida on a train. I thought I'd get a job and just forget her, but in Chicago a broken heart is still the same. I matched the man behind the bar for the jukebox, and the music takes me back to Tennessee. When they ask who's the fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drinker me. I say, a little old wine drinker me.
Boom. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 08459 455 555. Who will be the first caller of the day? No prizes, just my respect. And even that doesn't mean a lot these days. Now, a Liberal Democrat from Hertfordshire says she will resign from the party today if Lord Reynard, the peer accused of sexual harassment, returns to the party. Susan Gashak, one of the women who made the original allegation, says he has yet to apologise to her. He, however, denies any improper behaviour, and his allies are threatening legal action if he doesn't get admitted back today. Well, our political reporter, Paul Scoynes, has been following this story. Paul, what more can you tell us?
This is all getting rather messy for the Liberal Democrats, Iain. The peer, Lord Reynard, who, as you said, sort of completely denies these allegations and indeed resigned the whip from the from the House himself, whilst these allegations sort of came to light last year, is due to return to the Liberal Democrat group today. Now, there's nothing Nick Clegg can do about that. He can't force him to not be part of the group. He can only make a very strong recommendation, which is what he has said, that this whip shouldn't be restored until Lord Renard apologised over these allegations of sexual harassment. Of course, allies of Lord Renard are saying, well, he hasn't done anything wrong, so therefore we're going to take legal action if he isn't allowed back in today. He, as I say, resigned last year. There was these claims that he'd made unwanted sexual advances towards several women, including Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire, who gave an interview, first of all, to Channel 4 News on, back last year, but also then spoke openly as herself on Channel 4 News last Thursday. She spoke to the BBC last night as well and said that if he was to be readmitted, it would seriously make her consider whether or not she was going to remain a Liberal Democrat. Indeed, there have been other women who've made these claims against him who have already left the party. So frustrated they are that, the investigation that the Lib Dems launched into this recommended that he should make an apology, even though there was no sort of evidence, they said, or there was broadly credible evidence. This is Alistair Webster. Broadly credible evidence that events had occurred which had caused distress. And he was quite clear that Lord Renard should make an apology. So the party line over the weekend was that he should apologise. He hasn't apologised. He's due to return to the Lords today, and that upsets a number of
Two things, Paul, and we've been emailing each other before the show, so let's have this conversation on the air as freely as we can. Two things. I was surprised, naively perhaps, that Nick Clegg can't just kick someone out of the Lib Dems. It would appear, I would have thought, that the leader of the Lib Dems could kick someone out. I'm surprised that he can't. But also, if the inquiry or the review, whatever it is, has found that Lord Renard didn't, harass these women, why would he apologise? And an apology would be an admission of guilt, wouldn't it?
Well, I'll deal with the Nick Clegg line first of all. So Nick Clegg has control over the Liberal Democrats as a party, but the Lords, whether or not who is in the Lords, is dealt with by the peers in the House of Lords. So it's a slightly different sort of constitutional sort of power that they have, indeed, who can be a member of that group. So he can make a strong recommendation, which is what he says he has done, and indeed what the women have said he's done now. These sort of took a little while to do that, but he's come out and said that the whip, as they call it, shouldn't be restored until the peer apologised. So that's one thing. What that report by Alistair Webster QC found was that this was the line here. I have to be careful because there is a sort of legal sort of area here that we have to be a bit careful of. There was credible evidence that events had occurred which caused distress, and he said in that report, to have said otherwise would have been unfair to some of the complainants and would have deprived my conclusions of context. He then went to say that Lord Renard should apologise, and yesterday he sort of backs up a statement saying the suggestion that Lord Renard might wish to apologise was not one I envisaged as being contentious. He said that from the weight of evidence submitted as being somebody who would wish to apologise to those whom he had been made to feel uncomfortable, even if he had done so inadvertently, he would consider to be common manners. So there is, in that report, a balance of evidence suggesting he has done something. Obviously, there's no criminal evidence. He can't, it's effectively one person's word against another, and as in that area, he can't be proven sort of guilty, so to speak.
And if I'm correct, Lord Renard is denying everything, of course, and saying he's innocent of all accusations.
Yes, that's right. It's what he said all the way through. He said he can't understand these complaints, and these are that's the problem they find themselves in. In terms of the actual damage to the party, though, there's talk of women leaving the party. There's talk of women voters saying that they sort of won't vote for the party again because they feel that this has a sort of well, and I think it's actually causing a lot of internal problems within the party. They're sort of feeling of real bad blood now because this report has quite clearly called for a peer to apologise. He hasn't done that, so he's ignoring that report, or at least sort of defending that report, saying that they shouldn't have to. The women, at the other hand, saying, well, we've been telling the truth, and we feel let down by the party for not enforcing this. So it's becoming very messy, and indeed it's becoming the only story that anyone's talking about in terms of the party. So no one's talking about policy here. They're all talking about this allegation or these allegations, which at the moment are sort of limited to 4 people, but indeed more people gave evidence to the inquiry. So there may be more to come in the next few days. But Susan Gashak, as I say, from Hertfordshire, Lib Dem campaigner, known to the station, has appeared on the station many times before, made these allegations and is absolutely standing by them, as is Lord Reynard.
Well, I believe that Susan will be appearing on the show a little bit later on, if I've got my facts right. Paul, thank you very much indeed. Fascinating story. It's a big standoff, isn't it? Someone's going to come a cropper. Be interesting to see what happens. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Quite foggy out there this morning, especially in Bucks. Looking on the cameras, the M40 looking quite bad around junction 3 to 4. In Hemel Hempstead, there are roadworks on the A414. One lane is closed there at the M1 junction 7. On public transport, there's no reported problems. This is Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Jane Killick. Some volunteers are upset they will no longer be needed at the Bletchley Park Code-Breaking Centre in Buckinghamshire. The trust, which owns the estate, is using lottery funding to open a modern visitor centre. A teenage girl has been taken to hospital after she was found with serious head injuries at a park in Luton. The 15-year-old was discovered by a member of the public in Lucy Park just after 8:30 last night. A woman will appear in court in Edinburgh today, charged in connection with the death of her son. The body of Michael Kular, who was 3, was found in Woodland in Fife on Friday. On to sport, and in cricket, Bedford's Alistair Cook has indicated he may step down as England's one-day captain after Australia took an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series. Cook says he'll take stock after the next 2 games, admitting English cricket needs a lot of change because they've not been able to turn things around since the whitewash in the Ashes Test series. In football, Chelsea maintained their Premier League title challenge with a 3-1 win over Manchester United at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea are within 2 points of the leaders Arsenal. And Tottenham moved up to 5th in the table with a 3-1 win at Swansea. The result leaves Swansea just 3 points above the relegation zone. After Saturday's 1-1 draw at Bournemouth in the Championship, Watford's goalkeeping coach Alec Chamberlain remains frustrated with Gabriel Angela's controversial sending off.
I couldn't tell from in real time whether the player had gone down from a challenge from Fitz or from Manu from the distance I was at. So they're obviously closer to it, but we'll have a close look at the laptop on the way home, I'm sure, and then we'll be able to make more of an informed debate about it afterwards.
At the Masters snooker, Ronnie O'Sullivan beat the defending champion Mark Selby to win the title for a 5th time. The world champion raced to a 7-1 first season lead before wrapping up the match by 10 frames to 4. In tennis, at the Australian Open, 3rd seed Maria Sharapova is knocked out of the 4th round by Dominika Ksibrukova. Sharapova left the court for a medical timeout before the final set and was defeated after losing the last 2 sets. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. I'll be back with a full bulletin at 7.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ever since you've told me that today is Blue Monday...
You've been feeling blue?
I've been feeling blue. I've got the blues. So what is Blue Monday?
Apparently it's because a lot of us got paid early before Christmas. We're all feeling skint, and we've got it's a bit limp since Christmas.
Tell me about it. bit limp since I got
and
married.
There's not an awful lot to look forward to, and the weather's... I don't want to bring you down, but apparently it's a bad day for everyone.
I tell you why. Tax bill's coming up. My car insurance is coming up soon. You're right. No money's coming in, probably won't till the beginning of February. I'm not, laying it on thick, but
I'm running out of contact lenses.
Sorry?
I'm running out of contact lenses.
Oh, God.
I've got to wait till February.
Oh, maybe.
I've been wearing these specs for 2 weeks.
Oh, you wear glasses, don't you?
Yeah.
Blue Monday, if you're feeling it, give us a call and share it. Or maybe converse, au contraire. You might be loving it. Might be, what's the opposite of blue? Yellow? What colour is the opposite of... Do colours have opposites?
Rosy. Everything's rosy.
Everything's... What's the opposite colour of blue, Kelly?
Yellow.
It has to be yellow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where does red fit in, then?
Red's opposite is green.
No, it can't be.
Well, I've decided.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
It's
me next door. It's not even my fault.
Flipping it. Right, give us a call. Two things. Blue Monday, are you feeling it? And what's the opposite of blue? Oh, hang on, let me do that again, because I've just realised what I've got song.
Call me now.
No.
Call me now. They won't ring.
No, I don't want to do Call Me Now, because I want to do... This is clever, what I'm going to do here.
All right, OK, I'll stand back.
So, 2 things.
Go on.
What's the opposite of blue and Blue Monday? Can you feel it? Yes! I'm like Wally Webb!
Shut up, mate.
Good morning, Hearts!
The whole world's coming together.
There we go. So the Jacksons there. And can you feel it? Well, it's good to know why we've had such bad weather recently. You read this at the weekend?
Was this because it was our own fault brought on? It was the wrath of God?
It's the gays!
Right.
You gays! You're the reason we've got bad weather! Because of gays! According to one former UKIP member, don't know the gentleman's name, I don't think I need to know it, but he stated at the weekend the reason we've got flooding at the moment, or we've had flooding, is because David Cameron has invoked the wrath of God by allowing gay marriage. Is there anybody listening to this who believes that? 08459 455 555. That's nuts.
I thought the wrathful God was Old Testament. I thought he turned over a new leaf for the New Testament.
For the new one, yeah, for the King James.
Because there's a chance of redemption because Jesus gave his life to save us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't think he did thunderbolts.
That's insane. Yeah, it's all you. The blooming rain. Gays. Oh, gays. Hate you gays, and the weather you bring upon us is disgusting. 08459 455 555. What have you found in the newspapers?
Well, speaking of gays, and I didn't know you were going to bring that one in.
Oh.
Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday denied homosexuals and are unwelcome in his country. This is one of those, I'm not heterosexual because some of my friends are gay. He actually said that, and I like Elton John.
Wowzers.
Point proven.
What's Elton John got to do with... He's not, is he? No.
I think he might be a bit, yes.
Then why has Putin introduced such archaic laws against homosexuality then?
Laws against homosexual propaganda. This is the laws. He said the laws also covered child sexual abuse. There's all kinds of things wrong with that. Lumping those two things together.
Yep.
This is nothing to do with persecuting individuals for their sexual orientation, so there's no danger for individuals of this non-traditional sexual orientation who are planning to come to the Games. When they achieve great success, for example, Elton John, he's a distinguished musician and millions of our people sincerely love him, regardless of his sexual orientation.
Yeah. Listen, I don't mind what they get up to as long as you don't ram it down my throat, that's all. That's the only thing. But there will be people listening to that who will be going, yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. There are people... 08459 455 555. The Daily Mail, free parking for the obese.
Is it for people who can't walk very well?
Yeah. Disabled blue badges handed out to those too fat to walk more than 55 yards. Obese drivers who are too fat to walk short distances are being given blue badges, allowing them to park in disabled bays. The free permits for spaces next to shop stations and other busy areas are being handed out by councils to overweight people who cannot walk more than 50 metres. And then you pointed this out. Pew, who is the Mail's equivalent of Matt, but not quite as good, has drawn a picture of a gentleman driving a hippopotamus, and two ladies outside the car are saying, I'm convinced he married her for the free parking pass. So sensitive treatment there of fatties. What else he spotted?
Loads of stuff. I finally might be agreeing a bit with David Cameron.
What?
He's banning his kids from having phones and televisions.
Oh, I spotted that story.
Not forever.
I spotted that story.
I know, and I nicked it.
Yeah. You won't find it in that paper. It's in this one.
I will, actually. It's in here as well.
Oh.
You carry on. You tell me then, and I'll back you up.
Well, it's a story I found, and then you nicked.
So yeah, strict dad Cameron bans TV and mobiles. Prime Minister David Cameron. This is the Express, by the way, if you want to read along a Kath. It's page 17. Prime Minister David Cameron has given a revealing insight into his private life as a strictly traditional father. Who knew he was a Conservative father?
Who knew?
In his family flat at number 10, the Cameron children are banned from having mobile phones, music gadgets or video games. Yes, because you are together as a family. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Mr Cameron, who's 47 and his wife Samantha 42, before you wonder how old they are, there's the information, insists that instead...
5 years is a good age gap between husband and wife, I think.
Do you think?
With her being younger.
We've got 3.
That's good. I think 5 is the optimum. 3's good.
Three's fine, isn't it? I'm glad you say that, otherwise I'd have to sack him off, obviously.
Yes. Any less than 3 and any more than 5... any less than 3 and any more than 5, I think, really is just unhealthy.
You think?
I don't think it works. So Kelly's just shouting at me, what's your beef?
What? That's silly.
Why?
Well, you just love who you love, don't you? And it will work if you make it.
Oh, well, Harold and Maude. What's the age gap in your relationship?
It's about 9 months.
Well, then
that's fine.
Well, no, it won't work.
Oh, really? Why?
Too close.
Well, it's worked for 9 years so far, so...
When did you get married?
Well, I'm not married yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's still working.
Thank you very much indeed. Kelly Betts there. The voice of youth. Oh, that's a good... I'm going to make you, Kelly, the voice of youth. There we go. She's got a title.
Thanks.
So if youthful people want to phone up and talk about hashtags and lols, you can speak to them.
It's going to be sick.
What?
Sick. S-I-C.
Oh, that just means that someone's not said it right, but you're quoting directly from them,
Shall I
doesn't it?
teach you a new bit of slang each day?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Today's word, sick.
I'll teach you a word.
It means good, by
I'll
the
teach
way.
you a word. You look butters. Yay!
That's rude.
Hey, is it? Oh, I thought butters was good.
No. Anyway, so the Prime Minister's not letting his kid do that. What do you think, Iain Lee? I know you have some thoughts on it because it's your idea.
Page 13 of the Mail. You stole it from me, so I'm not going to comment on it.
No, do.
I don't. I think kids watch too much TV.
My 5-year-old goes a bit crackers if I let her play on the iPad too long. She has to get quite aggressive.
My eldest, who was 4 last week, asked for a laptop.
Yeah.
We said no. Then he said to my wife, well, your iPhone's broken, can I have that? We said no. And I know why it is, and this is the one thing that annoys me about the otherwise excellent CBeebies, is they're always banging on about the games on their website.
It's true.
And I don't want him to play video games at the moment. I don't think it's appropriate. I think he should be reading and playing and things like that. And I think to start at the age of 4, I think is a little bit too young.
My 5-year-old says, next Christmas I'm getting a mobile. I went, who are you going to ring?
She doesn't even know numbers.
I said, OK, well, next Christmas that means you're getting a job because you'll be paying the bill.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. You're 5. No, you're not having one.
She's old enough to work. Do you not think? A little Saturday job?
Yeah, she does sit around a lot. Maybe
When did you get your first Saturday job? How old were you?
I was about 16, 17.
Where was that?
Woburn Safari Park. I was a monkey. No, I used to work. I was a burger flipper.
Oh, you were telling me about this at the Christmas party, yes.
And I sat in the kiosks doing like fizzy drinks and hot dogs.
Wow.
But it was a bit of a slow summer for that, so I read about 11 books. I read all my GCSE books, and A-level books.
Wowzers. Why are you reading your GCSE books at the age of 16 or 17?
A-level books.
That's better.
Changing it. I was
Thank
one
you.
of the youngest in the year.
08459 4555. I was 15, and I worked at... Yeah, I know.
B-Jams.
B-Jams. And,
You say worked.
No, I worked flipping hard at B-Jams. It was a horrible job. I hated it. But I was there for about 3 years until I walked out because they put me on the till one night, and I hated being on the till. And it was in the days of the price gun, so you'd put these, but all the stickers would always fall off frozen food. Mm-hmm. And this old couple came through, so I just made up prices, like really cheap prices. I saved them about 15, 20 quid. But one thing, I guessed the price, and I made it 10 pence too much. So they came back and complained that I'd charged them 10 pence too much for their frozen economy sausages. And the boss, who was the deputy boss, I didn't like her, she went through the whole bill and went, you've made everything up here.
Rumbled.
Yeah.
So you walked out or they sacked you?
I walked out.
On the end of her boot.
Something like that. Catherine, thank you very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 slow going southbound already today between 10 for Luton Airport and 9 for Redbourne. On the M25, struggling between 21 for the M1 and 20 for Kings Langley. Also heavy going between 26 for Waltham Abbey and 25 for Enfield. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. 6:46. It's, where are we? Monday, the 20th of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. In cricket, Bedford's Alistair Cook is considering stepping down as England's one-day captain after another defeat by Australia. I suggest, yeah, he probably should. 08459 455 555. Here's Elizabeth with the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. Well, it's a cold start today to what is going to be quite a chillier week than last week. We've got some patches of frost around, some of our temperatures in the weather stations showing values below freezing. So, yes, it is a chilly start. We'll see some mist and possibly even some fog patches form through this morning. So, tricky travelling conditions for some. Bit of a murky start. Where we do have the mist and the fog, it's going to persist, I think, for much of the morning. A very eventually lifting into low cloud. And where we do see the mist and the fog patches, then I don't think temperatures are going to get much past, say, 4 degrees Celsius, so rather cold here. Elsewhere, where we do see some brightness, we might even get some sunny spells through the afternoon, then it looks like we'll see highs of around 6 or 7 degrees Celsius, so not too bad here. But staying dry for all of us today. Overnight tonight, the mist and the fog is going to reform, really quite dense and extensive, more extensive into tomorrow morning, where it will persist for much of the day. The winds are staying light throughout, and tomorrow, rather grey, drab day. It is going to stay dry and really rather chilly. In fact, staying dry until Tuesday night into Wednesday. So watch out for that mist and fog this morning, and the temperatures are rather low. Without the sunshine of yesterday, not quite as thick as it was yesterday, I'm afraid, Ian. That's the forecast.
Oh, did you hear that? Oh, Elizabeth Rizzini, you're getting all street and slang with us. Did you say what I think you said?
Yeah, I did, yeah. It's not
Awesome.
as thick as it was yesterday.
Thank you, Elizabeth Rizzini. You see Kelly Betts?
Yeah.
She's Butters.
No. Oh, no. Butters is ugly.
Oh, I thought
you
it
mean
was...
tick.
Sorry?
You mean tick.
What does that mean?
Peng. But...
Hey, here's some exciting news. Who knows what happened on television on this day 47 years ago?
Your career started.
Catherine.
Dickie Davis was on.
No! The Monkees aired on British TV for the first time ever.
Of course.
We'll play a Monkey song, shall we?
Yeah. Do you want me to put one in?
Taking a couple of days off in March. Why? Oh, yeah, to go and see the Monkees again. You know it!
Every Saturday morning from 9. Justin Dealey with 3 hours of great songs and great memories.
Philip says here on the text, I saw the Everly Brothers at the Bletchley Leisure Centre.
Playing your requests from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s.
Tom says, you play some great tracks today. You haven't played one that I didn't like.
Justin Dealey.
We had our listener vote earlier as well. Well, The Who, they won it. Well, very soon we're going to hear from Marcy Wilde, but up first, the American guitarist Dwayne Eddy.
Justin Dealey, every Saturday morning from 9. And if you missed this week's programme, go to bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Now, I have, the last couple of Saturdays, had the occasion to be in this... I don't normally come in here on a Saturday, but I've been in this building the last couple of Saturdays when Justin Dealey has been doing his radio show. And let's just say there's a very laid-back vibe running through 3CR Towers. He has the lights down low, he has the leather jack on, the shirt's unbuttoned a bit. It's a very relaxed atmosphere, and it translates to a cracking listen. I don't personally listen myself, but I've been told... I've not been told that. I imagine... the right thing for me to say is it's a good listen. So, you know. Andy's in King's Landing. Andy, have you listened to Justin Dealey's Saturday morning show?
Oh, I've got better things to do than that, honestly. No, listen, seriously now, you're winding me up this morning.
Blimey, poor Justin Dealey. He puts a lot of work into that show.
I know, I've picked him up before. He's all right, really. I'm only joking.
Okay.
But you this morning...
Are you a cabbie, Andy?
I used to be. He's on landscape garden.
Was Justin a heavy tipper?
No, not at all. But he kept banging his head on the ceiling and on the roof of the car. He's a tall boy.
He's a very, very tall boy. But he did.
Yeah.
Would he leave any tip at all, or what was his? What did he normally do?
He gave me a good tip. He said never listen to Ian Lee for some reason.
Unbelievable, Justin Dealey. I'll have words with him. Andy, what do you want? What do you want to moan about?
Well, you're talking a load of rot this morning about this age gap business, 5 and 3.
Yeah,
now,
5 years is the optimum time. Any more than 5, any less than 3, you are in trouble.
Oh, I'm sorry, you are so wrong. I've been with Liz, my partner, for 24 years, and we've got a 21-year age gap, and we're happy as ever.
It won't last.
It will. We've been together 24 years, mate, and it's lasting well.
And you're the oldest, aren't you?
What do you think?
Yeah, you mucky pup. So how old are you? Well, you work about 50.
Oh, I'm 62 in April.
OK, and I'll do the maths. So she's 38, 48, 38, 48?
Oh, I thought you were more intelligent than that. Come on.
38?
Yeah, she's 41.
What? Hang on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. OK, 21. Yeah. OK, so she's 41. Oh, yeah. Hang on a minute. So if you were with her when she was 24, she was 17?
Yeah, you got me there.
Oh, that makes it a little bit seedy. She was 17, well, you're 38.
No. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Andy.
But no, hold on. We've been together 24 years. That speaks volumes.
Well,
it was pure love at first sight.
Really?
Honestly,
do you not find that? My wife, 5 years age gap, right? And even with that age gap, we find that we quite often, when it comes to popular culture like music or TV or things like that, we're speaking a different language.
Well, do you know what, me and Liz, we're tuned in so well on all aspects, and it's brilliant. We're a perfect couple, mate. Really are.
Come on, it's a perfect couple. What did her parents think? What did her dad think when you got together with her?
Her dad is brilliant. Sadly passed away last year.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But no, her mother. I don't think she ever really got to terms with it. But there you go.
Oh, really? The mum wasn't happy?
No.
Oh, dear. See, that's the problem, isn't it? Andy, I appreciate your call. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Bit of Glenn Campbell and Bobby Gentry. Be rude not to, wouldn't it? Wonderful.
That is why whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream. Dream, 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 dream. Dream, 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 dream.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's a lane blocked between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road because of an accident, and there are queues on the approach there. The M25 anti-clockwise very slow now between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. On the A1M southbound, slow going around junction 7 for Stevenage. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Alice. Coming up, the spare room subsidy, the bedroom tax, how is it affecting you? We can talk about age gaps in relationships. Anywhere between 3 and 5 years is fine. Anything either side of that, and it's doomed for failure. Here's Jane Killick with the news.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Jane Killick. The headlines. A rows intensifying over the modernisation of Bletchley Park. Teenager found with head injuries in a park in Luton. And spacecraft due to be woken up, ready to land on a comet.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A row is intensifying over the future of the Bletchley Park code-breaking centre in Buckinghamshire. The trust, which owns the estate, is using lottery funding to open a modern visitor centre. But some of the volunteers who've worked there for decades are no longer needed. Two of those leaving are Jack Darragh and Tony Carroll, who believe the management have got it wrong.
They haven't got a clue. They are ruining this place. We are all very upset about not being able to tell the story we want to.
Sad, but not angry. Just sad that it's come to the end of an era.
A teenage girl has been taken to hospital after she was found with serious head injuries at a park in Luton. The 15-year-old was discovered by a member of the public in Lucy Park just after 8:30 last night. Police believe she may have been assaulted. They're appealing for anyone with information to come forward. The Liberal Democrat peer, Lord Reynard, is expected to try to rejoin his party's group in the House of Lords today against the wishes of the party leader. Nick Clegg says he should first apologise to women who've complained about his behaviour. One of the women who brought allegations against him, Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire, says she's unlikely to remain in the party if he's allowed to take his seat without apologising.
We will see if he rejoins the House of Lords, and it is very much dependent on him rejoining the House of Lords whether I remain a member of the Liberal Democrats. The biggest issue for most of us is that we would like to just get this resolved and move on.
The mother of 3-year-old Mikhail Kular is due to appear at Edinburgh Sheriff Court today, charged in connection with his death. Rosedeep Kular, who's 33, has been in custody since Friday. Her son's body was found in Woodland in Kirkcaldy in Fife, 20 miles from his home. An independent forecasting group is calling on the Bank of England to delay raising interest rates, even if unemployment falls below its measure of 7%. A report by the Ernst & Young Item Club says rates should go up only when wages start to rise. Scientists at the European Space Agency will attempt today to wake up the Rosetta spacecraft, a project involving the Milton Keynes-based Open University. Rosetta is 673 million kilometres from Earth as it heads towards its destination, a comet orbiting our Sun. Paolo Ferri from the European Space Agency says it's a very complicated mission.
This is a fantastic mission, a first in history, trying to rendezvous with a comet, trying to land on it. It's a very long trip. It flew almost 10 years in space, and in the last 2.5 years it was so far from the sun that we couldn't keep it completely active. So we had to switch it off. We have no contact since 2.5 years.
In sport, Bedford's Alistair Cook has indicated he may step down as England's one-day cricket captain following another one-day defeat against Australia in Sydney. The home side now cannot be beaten as they lead the series 3-0. The weather mainly dry with bright or sunny spells, but cold with a high of 7 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Jane. We're all talking about this satellite that's going to land on a comet or a meteor. Oh, there's a much bigger space story in the news at the weekend. In The Independent, NASA says Mars mystery rock that appeared from nowhere is like nothing we've ever seen before. They've got that probe, haven't they, on the Mars? A rock just appeared in front of it. It's made up of really weird stuff. That's what we should be talking about. There's the proof. If ever we needed the proof, it's there. Right, lots coming up between now and 8 o'clock, including a group of disabled people are challenging bedroom tax spare room subsidy in the Court of Appeal. They say their conditions mean they need their spare rooms more than the average tenant. What do you think? More on the row over Lib Dem Lord Renard, who's been told to apologise to women who've accused him of sexual harassment, even though it can't be proved he did anything wrong. We'll talk about Bletchley Park, we'll be talking about age gaps, we'll speak to Justin Dealey at some point as well. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Send me a text, 81333. Start your text 3CR, or give me a phone call, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, and today is Blue Monday. Catherine, remind us what Blue Monday is.
We're all skint. Christmas is over. We're looking at the weather and thinking, I don't fancy this. We can't afford to think about getting away yet. We're all miserable.
Yay!
And I'm running out of contact lenses.
It is, when you put it like that, it's pretty bleak. I was feeling fine until I came in.
I'm actually all right.
Yeah?
It's Monday, though, isn't it?
You've been crying a lot today.
Yeah, but that's nothing new.
I know, I'm sorry about that. Well, listen, we'll wait for... Anyway, 08459 455 555. Are you feeling Blue Monday today? Or are you bucking the trend and going the other way? Now, here's something you might want to have your say on. A group of disabled people are set to challenge the government spare room subsidy, more commonly referred to as the bedroom tax, at the Court of Appeal today. They feel they're being unfairly penalised for living in homes with an extra room because their medical conditions mean they require more space than the average tenant. Well, in a moment, we'll speak to Eileen Evans from Bedfordshire-based Aragon Housing. But first, let's catch up with one of her tenants. It's Christine Cullerton from Shefford. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Christine, remind us and the listener of your situation.
My situation is in March 2011, I downsized. I was living in a 3-bedroom property with Aragon Housing, and because my children had left home and I was also suffering with a medical condition, I suffer with chronic fatigue, I took the decision to downsize to a smaller property, and I did an exchange with a family who were desperate for a larger property and moved to a 2-bedroom house in Shefford. Unfortunately, the stress of the move, and at that time I was still working, I became ill in April 2011 and became responsible for paying the rent myself. Up until that point, I'd never claimed benefits and managed quite well financially by myself, but my condition became worse. I was unable to work, and I haven't worked for the last year.
So when you stopped working, or shortly after, you went on to housing benefit, is that right?
Yes.
OK. Yes. How does the condition affect you day to day?
It varies day to day, but there are times when I struggle to even get out of bed. Doing any small, simple tasks become really difficult.
What does it feel like, this chronic fatigue?
It's a mixture of things. The best way of describing it, it's flu-like symptoms. So I get headaches, muscle aches and spasms. I feel sick all the time. I'm dizzy. I suffer with feelings of vertigo, so my balance is affected. Sore throat, cramps.
So it's pretty unpleasant. When the spare room subsidy, the bedroom tax, came into effect, do you know how much extra that's costing you a month?
Yes, it's £60 a month.
And
which doesn't sound much, but when I'm currently getting £100 a week, so £400 a month, that's a huge chunk.
Where are you finding the extra money from?
At the moment, I've been very lucky. My housing officer made a mistake with the amount of rent I was paying prior to the bedroom tax coming in, so I've been in credit with my rent.
Nice little rebate, yes.
So at the moment, I'm only paying £15 a month towards the rent, and I'm managing that.
And when will that change? When will that revert back to the price you're supposed to be paying?
The 1st of April this year.
That must be making you feel anxious?
I have felt anxious since the bedroom tax was introduced. It's changed my whole outlook on life. I was very happy here. It's not just about a roof over my head and having an extra room. If this property was a one-bedroomed, I would manage that. Although occasionally I do have somebody to stay overnight because of my condition. I need help and support with things like getting washed and dressed. And cooking and things. But for me, it's about turning this house into a home. It no longer feels like a home. Because I don't want to do anything to the property because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I've still got boxes that I haven't unpacked. So I don't feel as though I'm settled here. I feel as though I'm part of a community here. I've got a good support network of friends, neighbours, my family are close by. So it impacts on all of those things on a daily basis. I'm just constantly worried about how long I can maintain this.
Christine, allow me to play devil's advocate if you don't mind.
Yeah, no.
There might be some people listening to this who are saying, well, that's all well and good. You feel like you're part of a community, but you're stopping a bigger family that need that extra bedroom from having that room, that people are living in cramped conditions because of what some people may perceive as your selfishness. What would you say to them?
I understand that, but that's the whole reason I moved here in the first place. I did give up a 3-bedroom property for a family who needed it. It just so happens that they had a 2-bedroom property. There are very few 1-bedroom properties available. My understanding is that even if a room isn't really big enough to be a bedroom, if the property is classed as 2-bedroom, then it counts as 2 bedrooms. So I understand that people may say that I'm being selfish. If they could find me a 1-bedroom property in Shefford, then I would consider moving to it. I haven't moved here for selfish reasons. When I moved here, I was paying the rent myself and wasn't dependent on benefits. How anybody manages to play the system, I don't know. I feel I've battled for 2.5 years now to claim the benefits I'm entitled to. It's not a selfish decision. My other concern is moving again would make my symptoms worse. It's taken me 2 years to battle to the point I'm at now, and it is a constant battle with my energy levels. And my concern is moving again would bring those symptoms back, and I'm back to square one. I'm hoping to reach the point where I'm no longer dependent on benefits, but obviously the stress of this bedroom tax and everything else that's going on in my life is just, it's not helping my condition, it's making things worse.
Christine, I appreciate your time this morning, and I'm sure we'll speak again. Thank you very much. Christine Cullerton from Shefford. Well, listening to that is Aileen Evans, who is the director of the Aragon Housing Association, provider of affordable housing in Bedfordshire and the surrounding counties. Morning, Aileen.
Good morning.
Christine is one of your clients. Is her situation typical of the sort of stories that you're hearing?
Yes, pretty typical. We've got, across the Grand Union Housing Group, of which Aragon is part, about 650 affected tenants, and just over half of those have got disabilities. For some, the situation is worse because, in Christine's case, she hasn't had to have quite expensive taxpayer-funded adaptations to the property, whereas many, many people have, and it's practically impossible for us to find smaller properties for those people with disabilities to move to that have either got the adaptations in place. And of course, you know, with budget constraints as they are, there aren't going to be the disabled facilities grants available for those people who need to downsize to have the adaptation all over again.
Do you think the changes have ended up costing councils a lot of money in these discretionary payments that they can make?
Well, I think the discretionary payment system isn't a long-term system. It's created a postcode lottery and entirely subjective decision-making, so that people with disabilities have got they're subject to the vagaries, really, of local policy and local decision making, which means that, so for example, we had one tenant who was refused a discretionary housing payment claim because he had broadband access. The fact that he had a disability, he was a wheelchair user, he was seeking work, and he was relying on his broadband in order to try and find work, but it was deemed that the broadband was a necessary luxury. Okay. The system is expensive to administer because of the short-term nature of the payments, and it's temporary. So, discretionary housing payments are temporary. The government had made that quite clear. They are short-term discretionary payments. They are not a long-term solution.
This legal challenge today, Aileen, what do you think about it? It clutching at straws?
No, I think there's some valid arguments there, and it remains to be seen whether or not the Court of Appeal will agree with those arguments. The arguments relate to children with disabilities and sharing bedrooms, and in the main. And if you look, some people with disabilities or households with disabled children in them, it's very difficult for them to share bedrooms, and that's what the government says that they should do. So, where a person has their spouse or partner providing care for them, then they're subject to the bedroom tax. Whereas if they had an overnight carer who was not part of the family, they had to have an overnight carer who was not part of the family, they wouldn't be subject to it. The system actually is pretty unworkable in my view. It will cost the taxpayer money if adaptations have to be reprovided in the unlikely event that we could find properties for people to move to. It's going to be more costly. And for people trying to downsize into the private rented sector, well, average private rented sector rents are quite a bit higher than social rents, and if they're over something called the local housing allowance, which is the amount that housing benefit will pay, then the tenants can end up worse off anyway.
Aileen, we have to end it there. We're out of time. Thank you very much indeed. Aileen Evans, Director of the Aragon Housing Association. Love to get your thoughts and your stories on this. 08459 455 555. Maybe you think the disabled people, they are clutching at straws. It's a desperate bid, and actually the system, the spare room subsidy, actually works quite well. Or maybe you've been affected for it and it's ruining your life. 08459 455 555. 7:16, we're a bit late. Let's get the travel with Alice.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's a lane closed between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road because of an accident. Considerable queues on the approach there. The M25 anti-clockwise, very slow going between 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. On public transport, Virgin Trains have delays of up to 20 minutes possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. This is Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Alice, thank you very much. 7:17. It is Monday the 20th of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. In Bedford, in cricket, Bedford's Alistair Cook is considering stepping down as England's one-day captain after another defeat by Australia. The weather today, some bright spells developing, but feeling cold. Talking about Bletchley Park and some of the changes that are being made there. If you've been to Bletchley Park, give me a call. Let me know. What do you think? Old-fashioned? Past it? Does it need a boot up the backside? Or do you think actually it's a cracking place and it should be left well alone? 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On Inside Out East, as energy bills climb ever higher, we find out how a 3-bedroom home can be heated for just £120 a year. And who's stealing your electricity? We're on the road with the energy detectives, catching the thieves that make all our bills more expensive. Inside Out East with me, David Whiteley. Tonight, 7:30 on BBC One.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
My boys, for their birthday, 4 last week, 2 this week, bought a book by my mother. Richard Scarry's, I don't know how you say his name, Bedtime Stories. Those cracking books. They're just like bonkers drawings with weird stories, OK? And they got Richard Scarry's, whatever you pronounce it, Bedtime Stories. Now get this, Kelly Betts, you'll appreciate this. So the first story in there, it's about a cat. He's got a boat.
Whoa, a cat's got a boat.
Totes.
I'm hooked.
And he goes off for a little sail on his boat, and his wife's made him a pie.
Nice.
And then he gets overtaken by some pirate mice, and he gets forced to live on an island.
Oh.
Right, but the cat's name is Uncle Willie. Sorry?
Can I borrow this book?
You can do.
Thank you.
It's a great Uncle Willie. So my boys, of course, are finding that hilarious. Now, their mum read it to them the other night, and she's going, "Oh, I had a terrible nightmare reading this book to them. There's a character called Uncle Willie." I laughed when she told me that. And she went, "Oh, not you as well." She said the boys would not stop laughing out loud at Uncle Willie. And then the boys came downstairs and they said, Daddy, that book that Nanny Linda bought us, you'll never guess, there's a cat called Uncle Willie in it. So that all of yesterday was them banging on about Uncle Willie.
Well, they've got a good sense of humour.
They've got a cracking sense of humour. Uncle Willie, Kath. Oh, dearie me. Dennis!
Good morning.
Uncle Willie.
What about him?
Well, there's a name, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yes. You would have thought that in a children's book, knowing that it's going to be listened to by 4- and 2-year-old boys who have got the filthiest sense of humour, you couldn't put a character called Uncle Willie in there.
Why not?
It's
probably what they call their little appendage anyway.
Well, they do, boy, I've told the story many times about my eldest playing, coming downstairs naked, pulling his Willie and strumming it. And I said, "What on earth are you doing?" He said, "Daddy, I'm playing the Willie guitar." And then the other thing, about a month ago, I went home and he was naked again. He loves being naked. I don't know where he got it from. Not me, because I hate being naked. But he had a blanket around his head and he was kind of wiggling his hips and he's going, woo, woo. And I said, "What on earth are you doing?" He said, "Daddy, I'm the Willie Ghost." A Willie Ghost, Dennis. We got to stop this, ban this sick filth.
No, don't do that, because I've got to train my 4 great-grandsons about that.
No, oh dear.
Yes,
they won't let go of them.
No, anyway, get rid of this Blue Monday. You should be laughing like mud now.
Sorry, it is Blue Monday today. It's a miserable, miserable day, Dennis.
No, the only thing about Blue Monday is you get rotten cars built on this day.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because they reckon people have not got their hands around the screwdriver properly in the car factories, and they get worse cars on a Monday than the rest of the week.
I didn't know that people worked in car factories anymore. I thought it was all done by a machine.
Well, that's probably the machine's not being adjusted properly then as well, you know. But no, what's blue about Monday?
Well, it's the Monday that we're in. It's the post-Christmas New Year lull. People haven't been paid. Bills are coming in. All these kind of things.
But you're still alive, aren't you?
Well, that's partly why we're so miserable.
Oh, well, I'm the other way round. As I said, my resolution was to wake up every morning, so I'm still keeping a good resolution.
Hey, do you remember Dennis from Luton?
No, because that was a put-up job.
Sorry?
That was a put-up job.
Anyway, he stopped calling in.
I know, because Justin Dealey told me it was a put-up job.
Don't want to listen. Hey, do you listen to Justin Dealey's show on a Saturday morning?
No.
Ah.
I've got other things to do on a Saturday.
We're trying to find people. This is not very good for Dealey, is it, Kath? No. We're trying to find... We're trying to... Oh, dear. Well, OK, we need to plug it a bit more. Dennis, can you do a trailer, a little promotional message for Justin Dealey's Saturday morning show? Away you go.
No, why should I? Let people decide for themselves what they want. You're spreading the good word that he's playing music. If you want to listen to it, do it. I don't listen to music.
OK, so if you could say, yes. Hi, my name is Dennis from Dunstable, and I always listen to Justin Dealey Saturday mornings, 9 o'clock, BBC Three Counties Radio. He really plays the best music around.
You've done a good imitation of my voice.
Come on, Dennis, you can do it.
All right. For Justin Dealey, I will do this. Saturday morning, listen to Justin Deal. He plays some absolutely fantastic music. He's a rotten photographer, but he's a very good musician. Bye-bye.
Dennis, can you do one for introducing as well?
Introducing? Well, this is Justin Dealey.
No. It's not Justin. It's Gareth. It's Gary Floyd. Gary Floyd.
Who the hell's Gary Floyd?
He's got a pineapple on his head.
I'll just clip that, thanks.
Dennis, thank you very much indeed. Catherine, you were telling me about some of your girls' stories.
Yeah, we read The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton.
Cracking book, not read it for a long time.
No, and when I got my old book out, and the names are different.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, in what way? Because I know that some of the Enid Blytons are a little bit racist.
Well...
No?
They've changed a bit of that as well.
OK, good.
But in the new book, there's no more Fanny. She's Franny. But, of course, I can't read it without knowing that it's not really Franny. I don't think my kids even know that word. Leave it in.
If Uncle Willie and Fanny got together, what a book that would be.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let me just check. Yep, we're still on air. We're still on air. I think we went up to the wire and had a little peek over it, but now we're back. Now, on to more serious things. A row is bubbling away at Buckinghamshire's Bletchley Park as its owners attempt to attract more visitors. Thanks to lottery funding, the Bletchley Park Trust is planning to bring in actors and interactive exhibits to tell the story of the codebreakers. But the changes mean that some small private heritage collections run by volunteers will have to go, and the National Museum of Computing becomes an entirely separate entity. Its chairman is Tim Reynolds. Tim joins me now. Morning, Tim.
Good morning, Ian.
Tim, did you see this coming?
Yes, we did, and we spent a considerable period of time trying to negotiate a solution whereby any visitors coming to Bletchley Park will still be able to visit the National Museum of Computing and see the world's oldest electronic computer called Colossus.
Do you think that Bletchley... old-fashioned's not quite the right word, because by the very nature of what it's displaying, it's old-fashioned. But do you think it needs to up its game?
Yes, I do. And I can quite understand that progress is required. However, progress started 10 years ago with the building of the Science and Innovation Centre there, 6 years ago with the building of the National Museum of Computing. I think that things are getting better in terms of curation. But I don't think the solution in terms of the private collections was to dismiss them en masse. I think certain collections should have been supported with curation, as opposed to throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
So explain how it will work then. What when this funding and everything is completed, what will the difference be?
The difference will be twofold. First of all, many of the private collections who have been there for 20 years, such as the Churchill collection and the toy collection, will no longer be available to the public and will be off-site. The most important thing, as far as we're concerned at the National Museum of Computing, is that you will no longer be able to see Colossus, the world's electronic computer, as part of the visitor experience. So you will buy a ticket into Bletchley Park, you will see the Bletchley Park experience, which is relatively small and devoted to the Second World War and providing the context of Enigma and so forth. However, if you want to see what is regarded as the pinnacle of wartime code breaking, which is the breaking of Hitler's Lorenz machine, which was far more advanced than Enigma, using the Colossus, you won't be able to see that anymore because we will be outside of the pay zone. We no longer are allowed to sell tickets within the Bletchley Park shop. So unless you're extremely determined or you stumble across the National Museum of Computing by accident, you won't be able to see it.
That's not great for you, is it?
No, we're very well supported by the general public and certain sponsors. However, the overall arrangement between us and the Bletchley Park Trust is unsatisfactory. We pay in excess of £100,000 a year to the Bletchley Park Trust to run our museum. And to help them fulfil one of their charitable objectives, which is to preserve the history of computing and our nation's digital heritage. So it seems rather odd.
I've had an email from someone who would prefer to remain anonymous about the whole Bletchley Park. When I went, I found it to be one of the most complicated museums I've ever been to. It has no logical way around, and the amount of information dumped on you is bewildering. It's a flipping mess at the moment. The staff are very helpful and knowledgeable, but it's not a great visitor experience.
I would think that would probably be deemed fair comment. It is a mess at the moment. The evolution that Bletchley Park are going through at the moment is not being driven by the visitor experience, which is a shame. And as far as we're concerned at the National Museum of Computing, we've spent a considerable period of time trying to negotiate with the Bletchley Park Trust and not reached a satisfactory conclusion to have one ticket that allows the visitor to come into the park and see everything they want to see. That is the only thing that drives us at the National Museum of Computing.
Well, Tim, let's big up the National Museum of Computing. What other bits and pieces have you got in there? Have you got things like Spectrums and Commodore 64s?
We've got many Spectrums. In fact, almost every weekend somebody turns up with one, and we take it off them. But no,
send one my way, Tim. I'm looking for one.
Well, listen, you're perfectly entitled to come and see us. But more importantly, we'd welcome you down there, Ian.
Fantastic.
But also, on top of Colossus, we have a machine called The Witch, which is the oldest original working computer. And it's a place of magic that was started 6 years ago by some of my colleagues, and is probably halfway towards becoming one of the world's best, if not the best, computing museum in the world.
Tim, I apologise for not coming. It is a crime, and I will rectify that in the next couple of months. I'd love to come along and have a look at all the bits and pieces you've got, as I, sir, am a geek.
Well, please let me know, and we'd love to give you a tour.
Tim, thank you very much indeed. That's Tim Reynolds, National Museum of Computing. It is a crime I've not been there. I love all that stuff. You're right, I did start rubbing my legs, Catherine, when he mentioned...
Spectrum.
We've got plenty of Spectrums.
I used to have one of those. I used to play Outrun for hours.
Oh, man, those rubber keys.
Oh.
I love a good Spectrum.
I like a soundtrack that you have to put in on a cassette. Has nothing to do with the action on the screen.
Oh, wait for... I coughed and left yours on.
Quite right, too.
No, turn it off now. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a lane closed on the M1 southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road after an accident, with queues on the approach. M25 anti-clockwise struggling between 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. On the A1M southbound, slow going between 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. And on public transport, Virgin Trains have delays of up to 20 minutes possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Gloss at BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Jane Killick. Some volunteers are upset they will no longer be needed at the Bletchley Park Co-Breaking Centre in Buckinghamshire. The trust, which owns the estate, is using lottery funding to open a modern visitor centre. A teenage girl has been taken to hospital after she was found with serious head injuries at a park in Luton. The 15-year-old was discovered by a member of the public in Lucy Park just after 8:30 last night. A woman will appear in court in Edinburgh today, charged in connection with the death of her son. The body of Mikael Kular, who was 3, was found in woodland in Fife on Friday. The weather, bright or sunny spells developing and mainly dry, with a high of 7 Celsius. On to sport, and Bedford's Alistair Cook has indicated he may step down as England's one-day captain after Australia took an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series. Cook says he'll take stock after the next 2 games. He admits English cricket needs a lot of change after not turning things around after the whitewash in the Ashes Test series. In football, Chelsea maintained their Premier League title challenge with a 3-1 win over Manchester United at Stamford Bridge. Tottenham moved up to 5th in the table with a 3-1 win at Swansea. Watford are still pondering the controversial sending off of Gabriel Angela on Saturday. The match at Bournemouth ended in a 1-1 draw. Goalkeeping coach Alec Chamberlain remains frustrated.
I couldn't tell in real time whether the player had gone down from a challenge from Fitz or from Manu from the distance I was at. So they're obviously closer to it, but we'll have a close look at the laptop on the way home, I'm sure, and then we'll be able to make more of an informed debate about it afterwards.
In tennis, at the Australian Open, third seed Maria Sharapova has been knocked out of the 4th round by Dominika Sibrukova, a day after Serena Williams' exit. So it's just Victoria Azarenka who remains of the women's top 3 seeds after beating Sloane Stephens 6-3, 6-2. Andy Murray's match against Stefan Robert is underway, and it's all going the Wimbledon champions' way. Murray took the first set 6-1 and is leading in the second. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. I'll be back with a full bulletin at 8.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Can we get... I really want to big up Justin Dealey's Saturday morning show, 9 till 12, OK? And so far... Well, he's not got many comps. The feedback's not been great. So, we want to record some little trails, some little jingles to promote Justin's show, OK? This is the best we've got so far.
Saturday morning, listen to Justin Dealey. He plays some absolutely fantastic music.
Yeah, that's from a man who never listens to the show. So, 08459 455 555. Let's give JD a bit of love today, shall we? Shall we? I think he deserves it. We'll get him on in a little bit. I miss his dulcet tones. Carolyn Ware says, "Hi Iain, I listen to Justin every Saturday I'm not at work. I love it. He's found some songs for me I haven't heard for ages. I love your show too." Love Carolyn Ware. Oh, Carol, I love you. Yeah. Jane in Milton Keynes. I love Justin. Oh, hang on a minute. Have you seen the text from...
I love Justine.
I love Justine's show. Oh, dear. Got the wrong gender, love. I love Justine's show. Every Saturday mornings, I listen every week. He plays great music. Helen in Milton Keynes. Why is it that in support of an extremist opinion... Oh, hang on a second. See, this isn't about Justin. This is about God. Why is it that in support of an extremist opinion... Thank you. Heavy stomps for such a tiny person. Why is it that in support of an extremist opinion, people always refer to the Old Testament and forget that Christ came to change all of that, which is why we're called Christians? They should spend more time reading the New Testament. This was the incredible story at the weekend, right? Former UKIP member, was he an MP? I think he might have been, blamed the recent flooding we've had on... Anyone? On? That's right, gays. Yeah, you naughty, naughty homosexuals. It's all your fault we've been so damp. It's your fault we've had to wear the wellies. Naughty gays and what they get up to.
Wanting to be married and monogamous. Terrible, isn't it?
David Cameron has apparently, according to this gentleman, whose name escapes me and isn't actually important, David Cameron has invoked the wrath of God by allowing gay marriage. Disgusting. We knew it was going to corrupt marriage. We didn't know it was going to corrupt the weather at the same time. This man said this. He's been...
What year is it again?
Let me just have a look at the newspaper here. It's January the 20th, 2014.
Oh, I thought it must be the olden days.
2014. I'm thinking of joining UKIP just to hang out with the fruitcakes they have there.
You can say what you want, can't you?
You can say pretty much what you want. 08459 455 555. Mark's in Hemel. Morning, Mark.
Hello, Ian, my friend. How are you?
Mark, we're not friends, just for legal reasons. I have to say that. If I agree to it, it means you can come round to my house for a slice of cake and a game on the Xbox.
Well,
Mark, are you feeling the Blue Monday?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I've just got a little. I love the show, by the way.
Thank you very much indeed. It's good, isn't it?
Catherine, I think she sounds well tick and buff.
Ooh.
Any chance of a signed photograph?
Oh. I don't want to spoil the illusion.
Can we send him a car sticker or something?
What of me?
Yes, please.
If you can see this, you're too close.
Have you ever seen Catherine?
I haven't, mate. No. I'm going by the voice.
Yeah. You know, fit on the phone, add 10 stone.
I've got a policeman friend that says that. Isn't that awful?
That's a lie, Mark. She's well buff.
Yeah,
she's tick
think she
and
is, mate.
boom.
She is. I'm going to try something here. She's Butters.
No. Butters is not attractive.
Ugly.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Has she got dark hair, Ian?
Oh, this is horrible. Yes. Okay. Catherine has got dark hair.
Right.
It's long.
She's got a very busy mouth. She's wearing a red, tight dress that's a little bit too short for her age.
Wow.
And she has drunk eyes. You still going for it?
Yeah, go on. I'll have the photo, mate, please, yeah.
We will make sure that never, ever happens. But, Mark, what have you called in about?
Right, OK, mate, yeah, just wanted to give the listeners a laugh.
You're right, Kath.
If you listen to
hang on, are you laughing or crying?
A bit of both.
I need to know for my legal team.
A bit of both.
OK, right, I'll send them an email to expect a call. Yes, Mark, please.
Right, OK, yeah, if you listen to the start of Elvis's A Little Less Conversation, there's a drum beat in it right at the start, which sounds exactly the same as I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of It.
Well, by a strange coincidence, we have them both queued up. I don't know how. Let's have it. This is Elvis Presley. Hang on. Right, OK, that's the drum bit, is it? Well,
no,
obviously.
that's not the bit, no.
Oh.
It's the remix one.
Oh,
it's the remix version.
This bit?
No, that's not the remix version.
Oh, we got...
Oh, okay, no, keep playing it.
Oh, right. Oh, flipping heck. Hang on a second. Right, here we go. Right, so... Here we go.
This bit. Keep
this conversation.
What bit?
No, that's not the remix version. The one that was out about 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay, Kelly, have we got the remix version?
That one works.
All right, well, hang on, let's do it again, then we'll play the I'm a Celebrity. Let's see if that works. Hang on, here we go.
Okay, mate.
Woo!
Yeah!
He died on the toilet, you know.
What was he doing? Didn't he fall off?
Number 2. Right, okay, and then this is I'm a Celebrity.
I can see what he means.
But it's the wrong version. You need...
It's definitely the wrong version.
Shall I try and find it? The other one. Oh.
Yeah, please, because it's exactly the same.
You've calmed down now, Catherine.
Well, I just had a phone call from Walter on his way to work who says I'm shaka-laka boom boom. That's going to put a spring in your step, isn't it?
Kelly, can I have the clip of Catherine saying I'm shakalaka boom boom, please?
Of course.
That's wonderful. Catherine, it's not often a woman of your age gets so many comps.
Wow, I know. I've got to take it where I can get it.
Yeah, that's... have
anyway,
you found...
let me find this thing. I can't do all at the same time.
Justin, be with you in a sec.
Yeah, no worries, boss.
Mark, hang on a second. Right.
All right, mate, my friend.
Mark, do you listen to Justin's show on a Saturday?
I have done, mate, yes, he does the cookery bit, doesn't he? Is that right?
He's really good.
We're trying to get... Listen, I want to big up Justin's show on a Saturday. Having worked here the last couple of Saturdays, this ghost town is haunted by the ghost of Justin Dealey. And I want to get some nice... Could you just say some nice things about it, Mark, so that we can use it as a little trail for Justin?
Sure, no problem.
Away you go.
Hello, listeners. It's Mark from Hemel. Good up for Justin. Big up, big time. He's better than Gino De Campo.
He doesn't do Do you do cooking, Justin? I've never listened.
No.
This is what we had earlier, Just. This is from Dennis.
Saturday morning, listen to Justin Dealey play some absolutely fantastic music.
Okay, but he hasn't listened, though, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm doing it. I really thought this would be an easy one. We get people to phone. Lots of nice texts.
Yeah.
Carol says, I listen to Justin every Saturday. I love it. I love his songs. Jane says, I love Justine's show. Saturday mornings. I listen every week. He plays great music.
I've been called far worse than Justin.
I know, and I apologise for that. I do apologise, but...
How do you spell shakalaka boom boom? I'm just trying to save it.
SHACK...
CK.
AL Shaka La ACK A boom boom.
I thought it was just boom shakalak.
Boom.
It's the most ridiculous conversation that Catherine.
That song's in. If you want to just
zhuzh it around. We can do it now. So have a listen to this. So this is the remix of Elvis. Hang on, here we go. Is this the one, Mark?
Is this bit coming up?
Keep playing it.
This bit?
It's coming up in a second.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Right, and there we go. At last, sing hosannas. After 10 minutes, we finally got to the meat of that meat and 2 veg sandwich.
It's the same drum beat, mate.
It's the same drum bit I'm a Celebrity has stolen from a remix of Elvis Presley. Mark, thank you very much for that
can
indeed.
I just say hello to all the lads at MC Luke?
No, you can't. Now, Justin. You did it. Well done, Mark. Justin.
Yes.
What are you doing? What are you here for?
Well, hear about Blue Monday.
Oh, right, OK, there's actually reason to this.
It's the most depressing day of the year. Now, they've come up with this because it's just off the back of Christmas, it's freezing cold, and people might not have a lot of cash. So today, apparently, is Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year. Are you depressed?
I am, but constantly. That's just my natural setting.
It's you, isn't it?
I'm a very miserable man.
Well, to make people happy, I've got a few words here that'll certainly cheer people up.
Yep.
Engelbert, chocolate pud. Yorkshire puddings, salt, Porky Scratch, Dirty Dancing, and Coronation Street.
Porky Scratch?
Yeah, Porky Scratch.
Coronation Street isn't going to cheer people up at the moment.
No, that's true, actually.
That transsexual's killing herself.
Yeah, tonight as well.
Oh, blimey.
So, as it is Blue Monday, I've taken this one to the streets to see how people are feeling this morning.
Porky Scratch?
Yeah, Porky Scratch. You telling me you don't like Porky Scratch? Come on, you must love Porky Scratch.
Come here, love, let me give you a Porky Scratch.
Especially the hairy ones. So, yes, I've taken this one to the streets. I'm talking to people about Blue Monday, and here's what's happened.
Shakalaka boom boom.
Alan, good morning. You look a bit depressed. It looks like you want to go and kill somebody. Are you feeling really depressed as it's Blue Monday?
I'm sorry if I look like that on a Monday. No, it's just another day to me, that's it.
Ade, it's Blue Monday, but you're smiling. You're not depressed, are you?
No, I'm happy.
Can you cheer our listeners up with a joke or something?
I don't know any jokes, actually.
Not one?
No, I'm just happy. Just smile.
Can you sing?
No.
Can you dance?
No.
Can't really do a lot, can you?
No.
Madam, good morning. From Ian Lee's Breakfast Show. How was your weekend? Was it good?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Out of 10? 10?
So, yeah, so, not bad.
Brilliant stuff. So, are you feeling slightly more down, let's say, compared to yesterday?
Yeah, I had a nice weekend. I have to go to work now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So far, I'm okay now, yeah.
Because today is Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year.
Yeah, yeah, the Monday is the beginning of the week. I'll be fine, yeah.
You sure you're going to be okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, yeah.
Do you want me to come with you?
No, it's all right.
Well, I'll tell you what, as it's Blue Monday, I'm going to give you a compliment. I love your trainers. Where on earth did you get these white trainers from?
Oh, I'm having that quite some time now. They're worn out now. They need to be thrown away from back.
Oh, yeah, I can see the holes, actually, yeah. Yeah, air conditioning. OK, thank you very much. Try and keep that smile up for Blue Monday, yeah?
OK, thank you.
Have
a nice day.
Morning, sir. How are you feeling? You look a bit depressed.
Not too bad. It is my birthday today, but...
Oh, happy birthday!
Thanks. So, yeah, it's not too bad. Just missed my bus, but next one's in 10 minutes, so...
You've been listening to Ian on the way here, so you know what today's all about, don't you?
Yeah, it's Blue Monday. Apparently quite depressing.
You feel depressed?
Yeah, not particularly. Oh, no, it's... I think today's basically what you make of it.
And Ian's been saying, what's the opposite of blue? What is the opposite of blue?
It's orange. Yeah, according to the colour wheel, the opposite of orange is blue. It's an artistic principle. It's why red is the opposite of green, and they go together. It's complementary colours.
Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
Brilliant.
Today is Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year, apparently. Yeah.
No, just take each day as it comes. It's a gift, isn't it?
It is a gift, yes.
Especially at my age.
And what can you say to our listeners to maybe cheer them up this morning?
Make the most of it. It's there. Do it. Don't get... Chill out. Take life as it comes.
Beautiful. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
And you.
There we go, you see, Justin. Look, those people were very happy, weren't they?
Well, yeah, most people are quite happy. And I think, with this report saying that today is the most depressing day of the year, all that is doing is psychologically making people depressed by saying it's the most depressing day of the year.
What we need to do here, and on BBC Three Counties Radio, we need to promote happiness. And you know how we're going to do that, Justin?
Go on.
We're going to listen to one of the happiest voices in radio. Morning, Matt. He's disappeared. He dropped off the line. Well, it would have been a good gag if we'd have got there. I'll speak to you later on.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers, my dears.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Major problems on the M1 today. Southbound is closed between 10A for the Kidneywood roundabout and 10 for Luton Airport after an accident. Already queues on the approach there, which will be building. There's a lane closed between 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road after an accident, again with queues on the approach. A1 southbound looking busier than normal today, queuing at the Black Cat roundabout from the Kimbolton turn-off. And on public transport, Virgin Trains have possible delays of up to 20 minutes on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Alice. Right, 7:46. It's Monday, the 20th of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. And in cricket, Bedford Alistair Cook is considering stepping down as England's one-day captain after another defeat by Australia. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Let's get the weather now. Here's Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. We've got some rather frosty conditions outside this morning. Temperatures widely below freezing across the three counties, so a little bit of windscreen scraping to do, I think, this morning for many of us. And also some mist and some fog patches around as well, so you will want to watch out for that possibly some tricky travelling conditions through this morning. It is going to stay dry today. Where we see the mist and the fog, it's going to be quite slow to lift and clear at this time of year, and the winds are very light too, not really helping things. So where we do have that mist and fog lingering for much of the morning, then it is going to feel particularly cold, and temperatures probably not much past 3 or 4 degrees. But elsewhere, we'll see some brightness develop, possibly even some spells of sunshine as we head into the afternoon, and temperatures here in the best of the sunshine up to 6 or 7 degrees Celsius, 45 in Fahrenheit. Now, as we head into this evening and overnight, again staying dry, the winds are really very light as well. We'll see all of that mist and the fog reform overnight and into tomorrow, so possibly a little bit more extensive and denser, so possibly some rather difficult travelling conditions into tomorrow morning too. Temperatures down to 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, and then tomorrow rather grey and drab day, I'm afraid, but it is going to stay dry until Tuesday night into a Wednesday, so a little bit chillier this week and not quite as boom shakalaka laka boom boom as it was yesterday with all that sunshine.
Listen, Elizabeth,
Hello.
you don't have to let them bully you into saying words on the weather if you don't want to. I know exactly where this is coming from, and you are a strong, fine, independent woman. You are completely butters, and you do not have
I'm
to...
not butters. We've been over that already, thank you.
I'm sure butters is a good thing. No, you're Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're completely bare and buff, and you do not need to let them bother you and bully you, OK?
I'll try. I don't really like Shakalaka Boom Bit. Isn't it like some... It's like from the 80s or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Have I said something wrong?
So are you. Oh, no, yes,
Yeah,
okay,
you're
I'm being told that's Boom Shakalaka by Apache Indian. It's getting very confusing, Elizabeth, thank you. What we do here at BBC Three Counties Radio is we really cater to our target audience.
Every weekday morning from 9, The JVS Show.
Well, whose fault is it that there are so many fat people in this country?
It's a horrible word. Jonathan Vernon Smith.
But why do you want to kind of tiptoe around the issue?
People are people. People aren't fat just because they're big.
Tackling your consumer problems.
Over the last few months, I've been palmed off every few days.
There are some absolute rogues out there in the car industry. Tim, I'm going to send Wayne in to you. Let's get some detail and we'll get this sorted out.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9. BBC Three Counties Radio.
All right, Ian, I like you.
Let's go to Walter on the A1. Morning, Walter.
Good morning.
Walter, what have you got for us?
What have I got for you? Shakalaka Bum Bum is actually it's a racehorse, and it's running at Aintree this year in the Grand National.
So, are you the fella that called up and told Catherine she was Shakalaka Boom Boom?
She's Shakalaka Bum Bum, all right. I can tell by her voice.
So, what... I'll let Catherine deal with
So,
this.
am I the horse in this scenario?
You're the winner. You're the winner, babe.
So, hang on, she lets tiny men ride on her, and it looks like a horse.
Oh, could I be the jockey?
You see...
You had to take it there.
You see...
Who did that?
Yeah, we
No,
did that.
you.
08459 455 555.
Have you seen the text support for Justin?
Is there more tech support? What have you got?
Hi, I listen to Justin's show in his million-song jukebox, and it caters for everyone, though he doesn't play my requests. Oh, bit of a dig.
Oh.
As it's Blue Monday, why not play it now? Biggest selling 12-inch that will keep a lot of people satisfied, and that's from Maff in Hanslope.
Yeah.
And Billy says, oh, I love a porky scratch, hairier the better.
No, I've never had a porky scratch.
Oh, no, I don't fancy it.
It's just like kind of pork gristle or something.
Yeah.
But you can get hairy ones.
Well, because it's the skin, isn't it? It's the scrapings off a pork.
You can get a
roast.
hairy pork scratch. That sounds absolutely disgusting. Why would anybody want to eat something like that? It sounds hideous. Let's have a quick look at some of the Facebook comments on Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year, apparently. You do wonder where these things come up from. Buster says every Monday is a blue one, isn't it? Drake says, how can any day where Ian is on the radio be blue? Oh, Drake, you're flattering and scaring me. Andy says, today is a Blue Monday for sure. My car just decided to stall and flood the carburettor. And Mark says, morning all, it can be any colour you want. And I listen to Justin Dealey and BBC Introducing with Gary Floyd every Saturday night. Well, there you go. That's good news, Mark. Excellent stuff. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Ian Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a Liberal Democrat from Hertfordshire says she will resign from the party today if Lord Reynard, the peer accused of sexual harassment, returns to the party. Susan Gashak, one of the women who made the original allegation, says he has yet to apologise to her. He, however, denies any improper behaviour, and his allies are threatening legal action if he doesn't get admitted back today. One of Lord Reynard's supporters, the MEP, Chris Davies, says he didn't see why his party leader was making such a fuss.
My interaction with Lord Reynard 10 years ago...
Oh, that's the wrong clip. That's the wrong clip. We'll get that clip shortly and sort that out. That's one of the beauties of doing a show like this. Well, we're joined by Susan Gashak now. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Iain.
What's your reaction to what's going on at the moment? Nick Clegg is kind of, sort of standing up for you in a bit, isn't he?
Sorry, my daughter just said goodbye on her way out.
Oh, bye-bye.
School.
Have a good day.
The disadvantages of live radio.
How old is your daughter?
She's 10.
Oh, fantastic. Magical age.
Yeah.
Well, I hope she has a good day.
I hope so too. Nick is standing up for us a little, and you are right in saying that, but this has been one hell of a week. I mean, all the man has been asked to do is apologise, and he just can't even find himself to do that. It's just common courtesy.
It's a complicated one, isn't it? Because he's not been found guilty of anything in the inquiry, has he?
But he's not been found innocent either.
Right.
We were found to be credible, and that there was some evidence. And because of the rules that we have as a party, which now need to be revisited, the burden of proof is so high it's that of a criminal court, where actually this is much closer to an employment issue.
Now, Lord Reynard, if he comes out and says sorry, is that not in some way... And by the way, he completely denies everything that's against him, I have to say that. If he comes out and says sorry, is that not an admission of guilt that would then potentially open him up to being sued in court?
Well, I publicly said last night on BBC News that I'm not going to sue him if he apologises to me. I just want my apology.
But there are others who might not think like that, aren't there?
I don't know what the other three women and the others who have not come forward publicly are thinking. So I do understand his dilemma, but I also understand my position because all I've done is tell the truth throughout all of this.
The Guardian is reporting rumblings of a conspiracy between you and the other complainants. They say you're working together to have him stripped of his peerage. What's your response to that?
I've seen an article in The Guardian. A lawyer approached us, all four of us together, and offered us some advice. I declined that advice. I don't know what the other women did, and it's the only time that we've really communicated because we were worried that people would accuse us of being a conspiracy to strip him of his peerage. I don't know where the advice originally came from. Just this random gentleman contacted us saying, I'm on your side, this is a line you can take.
Reynard has said himself he did consider a year ago apologising, but was rebuffed by the women. I guess that would include you.
No, he never came to me. He never asked me for an asked if he could apologise to me. I would love to know when he thinks he's approached me to apologise.
And is that all you want, Susan? What would an apology mean to you?
An apology would just recognise the fact that what he... I mean, the problem is that there are two sides to this. There's my truth, which is that I felt that my personal space was invaded and that he propositioned me in a way that I didn't want to be propositioned. He may feel that was entirely appropriate, which I find quite ancient and dinosaur-like behaviour. But all he's got to do is acknowledge the fact that evening happened and say, I'm sorry.
It seems, and it seemed over the weekend as this story kind of grows and grows, that your case is becoming a bit of a political football. How does that make you feel?
It's horrible. I must admit, I mean, my kids this morning as they've left for school said, Mum, you better leave us some money just in case you get whisked off to a TV studio.
Oh dear.
Which is horrible. And it is a political football, and all I want is a resolution to this, and that we go back to talking politics. I mean, Nick Clegg this morning is announcing some really important news about mental health services.
And no one's listening at all, are they?
And that is really frustrating, because we have some really powerful messages out there. So the stalemate's got to end soon, because we can't have this being kicked back and forth for the next 3 months in the lead up to an election.
I've been told that Lord Reynard's allies have said that to not admit him to the House of Lords would make the Lib Dems look like North Korea or the Ku Klux Klan.
I find the language that's coming out of Lord Reynard's allies quite amazing. I mean, I, at all times, have been very fair about the man. I have said that he has done amazing things for our party, which is true. We just don't like this behaviour. And then for him and his team to be bringing out this ridiculous language is just unbelievable.
Susan, are you still going to be a Lib Dem at the end of the day?
I don't know, and that terrifies me, Ian. I've been a Lib Dem for 25 years, and it's a huge part of my life. I've got people, I mean, I said last night, in all likelihood, I am going to resign today, and since I've said that, I've had people contact me in their droves saying, look, Susan, you've got to stay and fight. But how can I? It is a really difficult decision for me today, and I'm tearful thinking about it. It's ridiculous.
Susan, I really appreciate your time, and maybe we'll speak later on in the week.
OK.
Thanks very much for your time indeed. Susan Gashak. I have to say, of course, that Lord Reynard denies all the allegations that are made against him. It's a fascinating story, isn't it? And it's one that really is going to grow and grow over the week. 08459 455 555. Susan, thank you very much for your time. It's coming up to 7:59 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel news now with Alice Glossop.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, 2 lanes are closed between 10A for the Kidney Wood roundabout and 10 for Luton Airport. There's no access to the northbound M1 from the Luton Spur at the moment. It's all after an accident and there are queues on the approach. There's also a lane closed between 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road because of an accident, with queues from Bedford. The M25 clockwise is queuing after an accident between 22 for St Albans and 23 for the A1M. On public transport, Virgin trains have delays of up to half an hour possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Alice. Coming up more on the spare room subsidy, the bedroom tax. If you've been to Bletchley, to the museum there, what do you think? Is it a mess? Does it need a boot up the backside? And what are you doing to get over the Blue Monday?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Jane Killick. The headlines. Woman from Bedfordshire talks of the strain of the bedroom tax. Teenager found with head injuries in a park in Luton. And spacecraft due to be woken up, ready to land on a comet.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A woman from Bedfordshire says the bedroom tax is making her feel unsettled in her own home. A group of disabled people will challenge the government's spare room subsidy at the Court of Appeal today. Christine Cullerton from Shefford, who has chronic fatigue, doesn't know how much longer she can make up the difference in her reduced housing benefit.
It's changed my whole outlook on life. I was very happy here. It's not just about a roof over my head and having an extra room. For me, it's about turning this house into a home. It no longer feels like a home.
A teenage girl has been taken to hospital after she was found with serious head injuries at a park in Luton. The 15-year-old was discovered by a member of the public in Lucy Park just after 8:30 last night. Police believe she may have been assaulted. They're appealing for anyone with information to come forward. A row is intensifying over the future of the Bletchley Park Code-Breaking Centre in Buckinghamshire. The trust, which owns the estate, is using lottery funding to open a modern visitor centre. But some of the volunteers who've worked there for decades are no longer needed. 2 of those leaving are Jack Durra and Tony Carroll, who believe the management have got it wrong.
They haven't got a clue. They are ruining this place. We are all very upset about not being able to tell the story we want to.
Sad, but not angry. Just sad that it's come to the end of an era.
A woman will appear in court in Edinburgh today, charged in connection with the death of her son. The body of Michael Kular, who was 3, was found in Woodland in Fife on Friday. The Liberal Democrat peer, Lord Reynard, is expected to try to rejoin his party's group in the House of Lords today against the wishes of the party leader. Nick Clegg says he should first apologise to women who've complained about his behaviour. But one of his supporters, Chris Davies, an MEP, says he doesn't see why his party leader is making such a fuss.
The whole thing has become like the Salem witch trials. And, of course, Chris is not going to admit to something he didn't do. It is completely out of proportion, nonsense and outrageous. This isn't Jimmy Savile. This is touching someone's leg 6 years ago at a meeting through clothing. This is the equivalent of a few years ago of an Italian man pinching a woman's bottom.
At 10 o'clock this morning, an alarm clock on board a spacecraft should signal the start of an unprecedented mission to land on a comet. It's hoped the European Space Agency's Rosetta probe, which has been hibernating in deep space, will wake up and begin its journey towards the comet. Scientists from the Milton Keynes-based Open University are among those involved in the project. And in sport, Bedford's Alistair Cook has indicated he may step down as England's one-day cricket captain following another one-day defeat against Australia in Sydney. The home side now cannot be beaten as they lead the series 3-0. And the weather, mainly dry with bright or sunny spells, but cold with a high of 7 Celsius. And get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Good morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy morning. Lots to talk about. I'll be honest, I'm a bit quiet on the phones. I'm a bit disappointed in you. I know it's Monday, but come on, please, pull your finger out. Here's some of the things we got coming up. A group of disabled people are challenging the bedroom tax or the spare room subsidy in the Court of Appeal. They say their conditions mean they need their spare rooms more than the average tenant, and the government should cut them a bit of slack. Well, what do you think? Keen to get your spare room subsidy bedroom tax stories. More on the row over Lib Dem Lord Renard, who's been told to apologise to women who've accused him of sexual harassment, even though it can't be proved he did anything wrong. Blue Monday, how are you getting through it? Can you phone up and big up Justin Dealey's Saturday morning show, please? Let's send the Dealey some love. And we mentioned earlier on age gaps. It's one of my bugbears. Between 5 and 3 years is acceptable. Any more or any less than that, it's never going to work. And the man has to be older than the woman. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Always great to look at my screen and we go to the next item and the words "guest has dropped" typed on the screen.
He doesn't feel well enough to talk to us this morning. He's talking about his experience of the spare room subsidy as a disabled man. So I wondered if there's anyone else out there who can tell us how you've got on. I know there were a lot of fears as it was being brought in. So what's happened since?
And it's affected lots of people listening to us in Beds, Hearts and Bucks. And I remember, how long has it been in for? Is it 6 months?
It's about that, I think.
8 months? I think I'm going to say 8 months. I'm putting my news hat on now, which is awkward when I'm wearing headphones. It's a trilby with
approximate news.
It's a trilby with the press card sticking out of the rim. 08459 455 555. Find out how long it's been going for. But do give us a call. Tell us your stories about how the bedroom tax has affected you, particularly, although not exclusively, if you are affected by some sort of disability. I remember at the time it was being introduced, we heard all of these calls from people who were saying, well, I need my oxygen canisters in the spare room. I need the spare room in case I have a carer come round and stay twice a week.
Yeah, there's a lot of equipment that needs storing.
Yep. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Give me a call and tell me how it's affected you. Or maybe you think, jog on, you slackers, come on. It's been introduced for a good reason. Bill in Milton Keynes has emailed him. Iain, there appear to be two kinds of benefit claimant. Those who are feckless, idle scroungers who, when any attempt is made to make them work, scream human rights, so they're left alone. The other claimants are in genuine need through short-term unemployment or disability. These are the people who are honest and try and play by the rules, therefore becoming easy targets and are made to suffer by having their benefits stopped. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call on that. And let me know your thoughts. Kath is... Kath. Yes, hello, Kath. Kath? Oh, no, hang on a second. Chris?
Yes, mate.
I do apologise. My work experience team of Kelly Betts, who's been working on the show longer than me, has put caller name Kath, and then... Yes, you have.
I haven't.
Yes, you have.
So how we do it, I put caller, and then I put what they're talking about.
Right.
And then I put the fader, and then I put their name.
You've completely changed the system.
So, for example, if you look at the one below...
Yes, that's Kenny
caller.
Rogers, who wants to talk about Matt in Luton. Is that right, Kenny?
Yes.
There we go, you see. Thank you. So, Kath, you've called in about Chris on the A1, have you?
No, I'm Chris calling in about Catherine.
Oh, OK, right. We'll play it by your rules then. What would you like to say about the mighty Catherine?
Well, Mr. Lee...
Hello, sir.
You leave our Catherine alone because she is the pin-up of the local truckers.
Classy.
And not only is she better looking, got a better figure, and she talks a lot better than you, with a lovely accent that she's got.
All right, Michael Caine, yes.
And she is one of the best on that radio station, along with our little Kelly.
But hang on a second. You can't say the backroom staff. There's a reason they're...
If the backroom staff weren't working as hard as what they do, you wouldn't be sitting up the front giving everybody grief.
Well, Kath, why are you pretending to play invisible bongos?
That's me typing hard.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Chris, you do half sound like Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Yeah, he comes from the same neck of the woods I do, mate.
Can you say you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off?
Yeah, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Not a lot of people know that.
There we go. OK, so what do you... How can I make it up to Catherine, who has this morning been described as a horse?
You can apologise. Do you what? Oi, you'll have a load of truckers down there, mate, screwing you.
Doing what? No, see, it wasn't me that said it. It was one of the callers.
Get out of here. You give them two girls a lot of grief, but you leave our Catherine alone and our Kelly alone.
OK, Catherine, Kelly, I would like to apologise.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I would like to apologise.
Any more grief off of him, you give us a ring.
I will do, Chris.
I would like to apologise to both Catherine and Kelly that only common truckers like Chris have phoned up to defend you.
They're British Bulldog best of men. What are you talking about?
Listen, us common truckers, mate, keep you on the road with your diesel and petrol for your cars and your belongings, like your clothes and your food. So give us a break, mate.
Chris, I think you do an excellent job. I tell you what I don't like. I tell you what I don't like about truckers, right?
What's that,
is that thing you do when I overtake you on the motorway, then you flash me to tell me I can pull back in front of you. I'll pull back in front of you whenever I want to, Chris.
That is to let you know that there is a safe distance between us and you.
There's a safe distance. I've got eyes. I've got eyes.
Yeah, but it's also people like you that come up the side of us and cut us up because you want to get in front of us to get in the space that's between us and the next car in front.
Deary me.
Chris, I love it when truckers flash.
Chris, thank you very much for your call, mate. See you later on. Don't build up your parts.
Hey, I found my niche.
Don't do that movement either. That's horrible.
It's my boom shakalaka move.
That poor chair. 08459 455 555. Kenny Rogers has called in to talk about Matt in Luton. Yes, Kenny.
Hello, hello, mate.
Hello, Matt. What can I do for you?
Where's my Kenny Rogers Daytime Friends?
Right. Find Daytime Friends by Kenny Rogers now. Now. Because this is ridiculous. We are letting down...
Sorry, I didn't hear a please there, Iain.
This is an order. Would you find... I'm not going to say a please on air. Would you find Kenny Rogers, Daytime Friends, Nighttime Lovers...
No, it's just called Daytime Friends.
It's called... So find Daytime Friends by Kenny Rogers so that we can play it for Matt in Luton. Here it comes. You had a good weekend, Matt?
Brilliant.
How's Margaret doing?
Margaret's pretty good.
She's still in the hospital?
I was singing Kenny Rogers to her on Sunday.
Oh, dear. Poor thing. No wonder she's in hospital, Matt, if that's what's going on. Is she feeling any better?
Yeah, she's better, but she'll be still in hospital for a while, yeah.
You got any idea when she's coming out?
It could be the end of this week.
OK. Well, they're keeping her in for a reason, so it's the best place for her to be, isn't it?
Thank you, Iain. Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Here we go. This is, ladies and gentlemen, for Matt in Luton, Kenny Rogers.
Yes.
But the thing is, Matt, you got to sing along.
I'll try.
Here we go.
And he'll tell her he's working late again, but she knows there's something going on.
She's been neglected
and she needs a friend. So a trembling finger dialed the telephone. Lord, it hurts her.
We'll join you in the chorus, Matt. Keep going.
He's the best friend that her husband ever knew. When she's lonely, he's more than just a friend.
Join in, Stephen.
The one she longs
I can't sing.
Here comes the chorus, everybody.
Yeah, here we go.
Daytime friends and nighttime lovers. Lovers.
Where they go,
what they do.
and they see it
Daytime friends and nighttime lovers.
They're all so they go in the nighttime and shake hands in the light of day.
Matt, you're a good sport. Thank you very much indeed. Excellent stuff.
He's got some pipes, hasn't he?
He's got some pipes.
Was he crying there?
He was. Well, it's a sad story. It's about a married man, a married woman. They're friends in the daytime. At night time, they're lovers, and they're not married to. They're married. I missed a bit of the story. So the man is married to
Matt's
woman.
gone.
Okay. The man is married. Stay there, Stephen. The man is married to woman A.
Right.
The woman is married to man B.
B. Let's call her Mrs. B.
Wait,
Mr.
hold on.
A.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. A. The man is Mr. and Mrs. A.
Yeah.
The woman is Mrs. B and Mr. A. Mr. B.
What? Okay.
And Mr. A and Mrs. B in the daytime, they're friends.
Right.
In the nighttime, they're lovers.
What about Mrs. B and Mr. A?
They don't know. They don't know what's going on, you
They
see.
should be brought into the equation, surely.
No, it's not about swingers.
No, but what I mean is they should know about what's
Matt,
going on.
I think Matt from Hanslet would not be listening to a song about swingers, okay? And that is inappropriate for you to say that, okay? So just don't even go there. Steve.
Good morning.
It's a messy equation, and only someone with the talent and skills like Mr. Kenny Rogers could put what is actually a really, really nasty situation into such a catchy pop song. It's a horrible story, but he's made it catchy. He's made it sound a little bit funky, a little bit country, and it really.
It's just the same as Coward of the County.
Well, Coward of the County, though, there's a terrifying story. And The Gambler. And you picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. 4 hungry children and a crop in the field.
Yeah, me.
Yeah. Ruby, don't take your love to tell. What Kenny Rogers does. Can we get Kenny Rogers on the show? Thank you. What? Sorry?
No.
Okay. What Kenny Rogers does is he takes really painful stories and makes them catchy, slightly country.
You've just coined what is country music at its absolute core.
Yeah.
5 chords and the truth.
There we go. Thank you very much indeed, she says. Have you been smoking something today, Catherine? Because you're in a very, very relaxed
I'm
mood.
feeling massively shakalaka boom boom.
Okay. Is that like Boom Shakalaka, the horse?
A little.
Okay. Steve, what do you want?
I want to tell you that Justin Dealey's show on a Saturday is absolutely brilliant.
Do you listen to it?
I listen to it. I mean, who else can you phone up and say, can you play me The Congregation and Softly Whispering I Love You, and he does it for you.
He's a good...
Absolutely the star.
Okay. Can you say it but sound convinced this time?
He's a really good star. He's an absolute amazing man.
Okay, now it sounds like you're being sarcastic, Steve. For goodness sakes.
On the M1 southbound, the Luton Spur has 2 lanes closed between the Kidneywood roundabout and 10 for Luton Airport. No access to the northbound M1 there because of the Spur Road being closed, but there are queues on the approach after an accident. A lane closed between 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road because of an accident. Queues going back to Bedford. And the N25 clockwise also queuing after an accident between 22 for St Albans and 23 for the A1M. On public transport, Virgin trains have delays of half an hour possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Very professional, Alice. Let's never mention this happened, OK?
Sure thing.
Thank you very much indeed. It's 8:16, it's Monday, the 20th of January. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. In cricket, Bedford's Alistair Cook is considering stepping down as England's one-day captain after another defeat by Australia. The weather, some bright spells developing, but feeling cold.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On On Tuesday night, MK Dons are on the road again, and we'll be with them every step of the way.
They're going to be a team that's going to be very, very difficult to beat.
We'll bring you all the build-up as they travel northwest to take on Crewe. Then the whole game is live right here.
Oh, what a lovely goal! Premier League quality about that goal.
Followed by all the reaction from inside the stadium.
That's remarkable. I don't think there's many anywhere in the country that can boast that youth and energy.
Crewe versus MK Dons, Tuesday night from 7 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
Let's have it.
This is Iain Lee.
Yes. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, these are very loud. What are you complaining about 12 seconds into?
These headphones are very loud.
Take them off.
Just on my left-hand side.
You don't need them.
What? I like them.
Well, then stop whinging. You have a choice. You take them off.
Yes.
Or you keep them on. Those are the options. You don't like it, you like it. I don't know.
Are they loud in your head?
Well, not any louder than normal.
Oh.
I do have them quite loud, though, because I'm going deaf. And do you know why I'm going deaf?
Because you have your headphones
exactly.
too loud.
It's
right.
a vicious cycle.
Isn't it?
I've also got terrible tinnitus for having headphones too loudly for the last 8-9 years.
Oh, gosh.
It's awful. It's awful. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, they're the worst things that could happen. I've got both my legs. Got both my arms.
Yeah.
So, you know,
true.
In the great scheme of things, I'm not doing too badly.
Bit of tinnitus, what's that?
Exactly, nothing.
Yeah.
Real people are suffering out there.
True.
Anyway, nice weekend.
Gorgeous.
Oh.
Really good. Yesterday, I went out. I went for a walk through the Hertfordshire countryside.
Fantastic.
I borrowed a dog.
I saw that.
Yes. I borrowed my friend's dog.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going for this walk. Do you want me to take Darcy? And she said, yes, please.
Yes.
So 6 miles I walked yesterday.
Darcy Bustle or Mr. Darcy? Which one's it named after?
I presume Darcy Bustle.
Is it a girl?
It's a girl.
Okay, it would be that, yeah.
And, we went for a nice walk and then ended up in a pub having a Sunday lunch.
Oh, dearie me.
How much better can a Sunday get than that?
Well, without the dog, it would have been perfect.
What's wrong with the dog?
Oh, taking the dog for a walk. Filthy, disgusting things.
What?
Oh, God. It's a big dog as well. I saw the pictures.
Labrador, black Labrador.
Yeah. Did it get wet? Did it shake all its stuff all over you?
No, it didn't.
Did it sniff your crotch?
It did get very muddy.
Yeah, disgusting.
Oh, we were walking through big, thick mud.
Horrible.
Slipping and sliding all over the place.
Why? Oh, dear.
It was fun.
It sounds hellish.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like a walk through the countryside?
Not with a dog. Not with the countryside or the walking either, if I'm honest. But the dog just makes it worse.
What's the dog done that would upset you?
Disgusting things. They jump up at you with their...
This dog doesn't.
Yeah,
This
good.
is a very well-trained dog.
Good. Electric collar.
Electric collar. Lady Penelope.
What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning from 9. Do you think shoplifting is a serious crime?
Oh.
More people are shoplifting now than at any time in the last 10 years. That's the news today. And the value of those items stolen has increased by 2/3, costing businesses around £511 million a year. Theft by customers now accounts for 82% of all crime against stores, and retail experts blame the economic downturn for what's been a marked increase in shoplifting in the UK. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your views and your experiences. Perhaps you run a shop, perhaps you admit that in the past you have resorted to shoplifting. I want your views on it as a crime. Is it a serious crime? Yes or no? 08459 455 555. It's the big phone in from 9.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've just found out that when Jonathan was taking this dog for a walk, it wasn't on a lead. Oh, dear. Dearie me.
So he was just walking alongside a dog.
The dog was just hitching a ride with his heels.
They're just hanging out.
Oh, dear. Now, a row is bubbling away at Buckinghamshire's Bletchley Park as its owners attempt to attract more visitors. Thanks to lottery funding, the Bletchley Park Trust is planning to bring in actors and interactive exhibits to tell the story of the codebreakers. But the changes mean that some small private heritage collections run by volunteers will have to go, and the National Museum of Computing becomes an entirely separate entity. Well, Iain Standen is the Chief Executive of Bletchley Park Trust and joins me now. Morning, Iain.
Good morning.
Are you surprised at the level of friction you're encountering over this?
Well, we're going through a major change project at Bletchley Park at the moment, as you said, an £8 million restoration project funded by the HLF and with a number of other trusts, foundations and corporate sponsors. And this is going to turn the site from the derelict buildings that it has been to a world-class heritage attraction. And inevitably in such sort of programmes there's going to be some change and some people won't like it.
It's a bit sad about the National Museum of Computing. Why are they being excluded and not being part of the tour?
Well, I think what you be clear is the National Museum of Computing is a separate trust that operates on this site. Indeed, 6-7 years ago, they entered into an arrangement whereby they leased some of the wartime buildings to create this museum and have operated separately since then. So they're still available on site for visitors to come and see. We did try to get a single ticketing solution to the site last year, but I'm afraid the National Museum of Computing walked away from that arrangement. But it's still available there for visitors to see when they come to the site.
Yeah, but it is connected. It contains Colossus, doesn't it, which helped crack the code of the German High Command.
I mean, what it claims is a replica of the Colossus machine. The story of breaking the Wren cipher that was very important here at Bletchley Park is told within the Bletchley Park Trust galleries, and the replica remains available for people to see at the National Museum of Computing.
What about the small organisations that you're asking to leave? Bit cold?
Well, there's only one or two been asked to leave, and these are collections that are currently occupying prime real estate on the site that we need to use to develop and tell the core story of Bletchley Park about the great work done by the code breakers in the Second World War.
Can't you accommodate them somewhere else?
Well, I'm afraid we can't. We're very limited on space here, so I'm afraid we're going to have to part company.
Where are you now with the development of the visitor centre? When's it likely to open?
It's going to be open in June, so we're in the sort of home straight at the moment. Most of the building work is nearly complete. If you come to the site now, it looks pretty much like a building site, but in the next sort of month or so, most of those things will be gone, and then we're fitting out the visitor centre and due to open in sort of early June this year.
We had an email from someone who's been to Bletchley Park recently and said that it was one of the most complicated museums he'd ever been to. No logical way around. The amount of information dumped on you is bewildering. Not a great visitor experience. Is that criticism you're familiar with?
One or two people make those criticisms. If you look at TripAdvisor, it rather belies those comments. We're a 4.5-star TripAdvisor attraction. Many people are giving us very, very high reports. But of course, that's one of the reasons why doing this project is to continue to improve the visitor experience and make it more coherent for our visitors when they arrive.
Iain, I appreciate your time. No doubt we'll speak to you nearer the date when things are launched properly. Iain Standen, Chief Executive of the Bletchley Park Trust. If you've been recently, give me a call. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Do you think it needs a boot up the backside? 08459 455 555. Mark the Trucker says, can you turn the wick up on the AM transmitter so I can hear you beyond Stafford? Yes, we'll see what we can do. We'll send Catherine up there in a moment, Mark. Paul says, Dustin Dealey has a great programme on Saturday and your show is Robin to your Batman. Paul, if I could understand more than two words of that, then it would be great. Norman of Linslade says, I'm not sad today, it's my birthday. Ha ha! Best of days. Ha ha! Iain, I think that January the 2nd is the bluest day because you've got another 50 weeks before Christmas. And as for Justin's show, it's mustard, kosher and great. Can you get kosher mustard these days? And great music and good show. When does the Past the Watershed shows start? Stephen St Albans. Jackie in Cheshire, my Saturday always starts with Justin Dealey. Helen says, Blue Monday, not for me. Looking outside to see fog and ice. I'm happy, 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 as I retired last year, and I don't have to go out unless I want to. Lynn's in Hazelmere. Morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Iain. How are you?
I'm all right, Lynn. Thank you. What can I do for you?
Didn't you sleep very well yesterday? You seem to be alienating half the population this
What are you
morning.
banging on about, Lynn?
Well, you don't like dogs. You
No.
don't like the girls in the office.
Well,
Don't like people marrying people of different age.
I'm going off people in Hazelmere as well at the moment.
Oh, we're very nice in
You
Hazelmere.
reckon? Yes. No, listen, I have minimum respect for Catherine and Kelly, but I like to... You've got to treat them mean and keep them keen, I think, to keep them on their toes. You don't want them to get too comfortable.
No, I think if you treat people nicely, you get treated nicely back.
Let me see what happens. Hang on, I'm just going to try and treat Catherine and Kelly nicely. Good morning, girls. Catherine, that red dress looks lovely. And Kelly, I really like the nose piercing you got done over the weekend.
What are you after?
What do you want?
You see what I mean, Lynn?
Yes, but, I mean, they don't believe you now, do they?
Iain, I really like your picnic blanket shirt that you're wearing this morning. It looks really nice. Goes really nice with your ageing eyes.
I've not got Asian eyes. What are you talking about? Lynn, you see?
Well, I like Justin Dealey's show on Saturday. That's fabulous.
It's a good listen, isn't it?
It's fabulous.
I've been told.
Yeah. No, you
to
should
say.
listen to it. It's very good.
By Justin.
We all listen to it here in Hazelmere. Well,
Good.
not all of us, but Nix and Court do.
Good. I'm glad. I was working here on Saturday, and I don't normally do it. And it was nice to see. It was nice to see Justin being the captain of his own ship and not the cabin boy of mine.
Oh, well, yes, I love his show. He's very nice. He's lovely to everybody. Was that a little dig there, Lynn? Oh, just a titchy one.
Shall I cut you off?
Oh, that's...
There we go. Douglas is in Barton. Morning, Douglas.
Morning.
Douglas, what have you got for us?
Well, I've been there 3 times, but I went there recently before Christmas.
Where's this?
To Bletchley Park.
Oh, Bletchley Park. Sorry, okay. I thought you meant...
Sorry, I thought they'd not,
Yes, I thought you meant Hazelmere, yes.
I'm appalled at what they're doing. I can understand that they want to get the various different huts back to where they were, but they've done away completely with all the artefacts of Churchill, which was a marvellous hall full of Churchill memorabilia. They're doing away with all the toys, the old toys, which the children love when they go with a school party. And I think they could accommodate those things somewhere else, but they're just chucking it all out, and it's going to be so bland. I mean, the children won't be interested in what went on there to that degree. They like to see that, but also to enjoy the other things that were on.
Would you not agree, Douglas? We've had some criticism from people saying that Bletchley at the moment, the museum, is a mess. It's unfathomable.
It is a little bit disjointed, I agree with that, yeah. But you can have somebody to take you round and explain to you about the place. So I don't think that's really an excuse. We've always enjoyed it when we've been there. I mean, the cinema hasn't been open, apart from we did have it opened particularly for us, because I donated something and they did open the cinema up, which is a lovely little thing. I think they're keeping that, but they're doing away with a lot of the projectors, I believe.
Douglas, I've got to end it there, just because we're running out of time. Thank you very much for your call. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the Luton Spur on the M1 southbound, 2 lanes are closed between the Kidneywood roundabout and junction 10 for Luton Airport. So there's no access to the northbound M1 there at the moment. It's all after an accident and there are queues on the approach. Queues still ongoing after an earlier accident as well on the M1 between 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable Road. And in Clop Hill there are queues on all approaches to the Clop Hill roundabout. Not really helped as people have been trying to avoid the M1 today. On public transport, Virgin Trains have delays of up to 30 minutes possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Jane Killick. Some volunteers are upset they will no longer be needed at the Bletchley Park Code-Breaking Centre in Buckinghamshire. The trust, which owns the estate, is using lottery funding to open a modern visitor centre. A teenage girl has been taken to hospital after she was found with serious head injuries at a park in Luton. The 15-year-old was discovered by a member of the public in Lucy Park just after 8:30 last night. A woman will appear in court in Edinburgh today, charged in connection with the death of her son. The body of Mikhail Kular, who was 3, was found in woodland in Fife on Friday. The weather, bright or sunny spells developing, and mainly dry, with a high of 7 Celsius. On to sport, and Bedford's Alistair Cook has indicated he may step down as England's one-day captain after Australia took an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series. Cook says he'll take stock after the next 2 games. He admits English cricket needs a lot of change after not turning things around after the whitewash in the Ashes Test series. In football, Chelsea maintained their Premier League title challenge with a 3-1 win over Manchester United at Stamford Bridge, and Tottenham moved up to 5th in the table with a 3-1 win at Swansea. Watford are still pondering the controversial sending off of Gabriel Angela on Saturday. The match at Bournemouth ended in a 1-1 draw. Goalkeeping coach Alec Chamberlain remains frustrated.
I couldn't tell in real time whether the player had gone down from a challenge from Fitz or from Manu from the distance I was at. So they're obviously closer to it, but we'll have a close look at the laptop on the way home, I'm sure, and then we'll be able to make more of an informed debate about it afterwards.
In tennis, third seed Maria Sharapova has been knocked out of the Australian Open by Dominika Sibrukova after losing top seed Serena Williams as well. It's just Victoria Azarenka who remains of the women's top 3 seeds after she beat Sloane Stephens 6-3, 6-2. And Wimbledon champion Andy Murray is sailing through his match against Stéphane Robert. Murray is currently 2 sets to love up. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. I'll be back with a full bulletin at 9.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Alan Winter. Who's Alan Winter? Do we know who Alan D. Winter is? Do we know who he is?
Alan D. Winter?
Yeah.
Is he an author?
He's the Houghton Regis Town Councillor. Is he the one that was rude about me on Twitter? Can't remember. Anyway, he's just tweeted, Iain Lee accidentally switched 3CR on early. Accidentally, so it was him. First thing I heard is Mr. Lee apologising for the way he speaks about BBC 3CR ladies.
Ladies?
Hashtag retune.
Does that mean he's retuning to us for a
Permanently?
Permanently.
I don't know. I'm sure this is the gentleman that was rude to me once or something. He said something rude and then he deleted it.
How do you accidentally tune in and then stay listening?
And then stay listening and then tweet about accidentally tuning in and listening.
I like this guy.
I like Alan D. Winter. I like everybody.
Do you know who else I like? Janet. She says you're an obnoxious man and would be better suited to another profession, and yet she texts you almost every day.
Janet?
Hi, Janet.
Hey, Janet. Nice to speak to you. Give us a call. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Yeah?
Yeah.
Groovy. This is one of the joys of doing a show like this. Lots of people hate me. That's not so joyful, but they constantly listen because they like being angry, and I'm happy to provide that service.
I hate you, and I work with you, and I'm happy to provide this service.
Jane's in Aylesbury. Morning, Jane.
Morning, Ian.
Oh, Jane, there's a lovely echo on your line. What have you got for us today?
I have been married to a chap that was 9 years older than me. Now I'm going out with a chap that's 9 years younger than me.
Oh, so that's an 18-year age gap bracket.
No, only one at a time.
So how old are you, Jane? 50?
53.
53. Okay. So you're 53, so that means the gentleman is... how does it work going out with a younger man?
He can be a stroppy little scorbury sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. If he can't get his own way, he has a little strop.
And how do you deal with that?
I just let him get on with it. I just walk out and let him get on with it.
And when you were going out with an older man, 9 years older, did people kind of, say things?
No, because I was 33 when I got married, and he was obviously 9 years older than me. So, yeah, but I lost my husband just after 8 years, just before 8 years, and I've been on my own now until I met this chap.
When you're dating and you are older, and I put myself in the older category, how does it work? What do you do? Do you go online? Does someone come up to you at a bus stop? What happens?
When you go on a date, you just go to the cinema or go out to dinner.
But how did he approach you? Was it he sat behind you on the bus? He went, all right, I'll sit behind you on the bus every single day. I think you look smashing. Let's go out to the pictures. Is that what he did?
We met on a dating website.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And did he look like his picture?
Yes, he did actually. But in the picture he was more ginger, but when I met him, he was a little bit darker.
Well, there you go, Jane. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. One of my favourite songs is by a band called, their name escapes me, the London something. And the song is... No, it's not the London Boys. The song is...
They were good.
They were excellent. They both died in a car crash.
No, they didn't.
Pretty sure the London Boys died in a car crash in Switzerland.
No.
Are you talking about London Grammar?
No. And they have a song called I'm 18, she's 30, does that make me dirty?
Oh.
It's a good lyric. It's a really good song, actually. I mean, that's it, but...
So you know that we've been wondering where Dave in Luton /Sue/Dennis/
Well, not
John
Dave in
is.
Luton, because Dave is banned.
Dave's banned.
But yes.
Well, we were getting quite worried. He was a regular caller last year, rang every single day, sometimes even more than he needed to. I've just called him and his phone's off.
That is worrying, isn't it?
It is worrying.
This is the thing, you see. You should never become attached to the callers, because inevitably things do happen to them.
I miss him already.
Okay, maybe could you...
Sue, can you give us a call? Or John?
Maybe you could try calling
Dennis?
him... Okay, yeah, shush. Maybe you could try and give him a call throughout the day.
Okay, all right.
Doesn't that constitute harassment?
No, no.
I'm checking up on him.
We're doing what... is it Yvette McKeveney? Colette McKeveney from Age Concern is always saying we should do?
Are you saying that he's old?
Yes.
Okay.
Check on your elderly...
No. The callers may come and go as they see fit. We don't chase them up. That's not fair, is it?
What if...
I just want to see if he's okay.
What? Something's happened to him.
Well, that's why I want to see if he's okay.
Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Hopefully, he's just tuned to heart and he's okay.
Hopefully. 08459 455 555. Shall we look at the front page of the newspapers? Yes, let's. The Independent. Putin. I'm happy to talk to Elton John on gay rights. Page 25. Oh, I'm going to page 25. Putin's charm offensive is lies. The Russian president, keen to meet Sir Elton John, is at pains to say that gay athletes and visitors are welcome at the Winter Olympics. Apparently it's lies. Labour will make jobless take maths and English tests. Shadow Minister tells The Independent those who refuse training will lose benefits. The jobless would lose their unemployment benefit under a Labour government if they failed a basic skills test and refused training. In an interview with The Independent, Rachel Reeves, the Shadow Work and Pensions Secretary, revealed a tough love strategy to stop the unemployed staying on the dole for up to 3 years. Wowzers. And police corruption cannot be eliminated. What? Corruption inside law enforcement agencies is impossible to eliminate, according to the man charged with tackling malpractice inside Scotland Yard. Well, that's good to know, isn't it? You can never trust the police. Thanks, guys. The Times. Who's this beautiful woman on the front page? I say beautiful, she's too skinny. Donatella Versace's flamboyantly embellished creations kicked off the 4 days of Paris Couture Week last night in spectacular style. Why is a fashion show on the front page of a newspaper? Really, what's the point? Who cares? Nobody cares apart from the models and their mums. That's it. 130 private schools in child abuse scandal. Now, here's a story. Attacks on hundreds of boys at elite establishments. Teachers at 130 independent schools have been implicated in sex crimes against hundreds of children, an analysis by The Times reveals today. Experts warn of a looming scandal over the... Oh, here's a surprise. Experts warn of a looming scandal over the abuse of boys in boarding schools. Really? No. It goes on there? No. I won't believe a word of it. 08459 455 555. The front page of the Telegraph. Britain sent by Al-Qaeda to launch attacks on the US. UK Islamists fighting in Syria are being trained to return as jihadists, according to Defector. There's a picture of a couple here. A retired British man was killed protecting his wife from armed robbers during a dream voyage in the Caribbean. Roger Pratt, 62, from Warwickshire, died on Friday after attackers boarded the couple's yacht moored off the island of St Lucia. Lord Reynard ready to defy Clegg. This is a story we've been talking about, and rejoin Lib Dem peers. Lord Reynard is planning to sit with Liberal Democrat peers on the government benches in the House of Lords later today in an open defiance of Nick Clegg. Senior Lib Dems are now battling to prevent the peer who's been at the centre of sexual harassment claims from inflicting what would be one of the most high-profile and public embarrassments of Clegg's leadership. Lord Reynard, of course, denies all of the charges levelled at him. The front page of The Guardian... Patient records to be sold from NHS database. A man in a blue outfit is jumping in the air. Looks like he's scored a goal. And tech firms make last-minute bid to halt tax clampdown. Really? Joyce is in Leagrave. Morning, Joyce.
Hello.
Joyce, what can I do for thee?
Well, I'd like you to let all our public know, please, that it's really icy out there and the pavements are bad.
and the cars are bad. They're scratching them all up. They can't get in the doors with the locks.
What?
So it would be nice. Could you give them a warning, please?
Give who a warning?
Well, all the parents going to school and people walking on the paths, etc. Like we used to have years ago when they'd say, be careful, the roads and the pavements are bad, they haven't been gritted, etc.
But people, we're more intelligent than we were in the olden days. People will know that, won't they, by, I don't know, looking and walking.
But the thing being, if you were rushing around with the children, getting them ready in the morning and everything, you don't have time to go out there. I just had to go out now to the dustbin, put some stuff in, and I had to bang it with a sweeping brush because it's really frozen stiff.
Okay, so here we go. I'll do a warning. If you're listening to this, this is a BBC Three Counties Radio public announcement system. Your bins may be frozen.
Please warn them on the safety on the roads and get out there early.
But Joyce, it's not a surprise, is it, that in the middle of January it's going to be a bit frosty out there?
It is, but it would be rather nice to warn people.
Okay, well,
mums and dads getting ready. And
okay, well, do you want to do the warning?
No,
Oh.
I've got to go because I'm waiting for someone to pick me up. Hopefully they'll be late, I suppose.
Well,
with the frost on the road.
I should have warned them, and then they would have been.
Yes.
Where are you going? Anywhere nice?
Very good. Just to Sainsbury's at Birmingham Park today.
Oh, lovely. What are you going to get?
I don't know yet till I get there.
You don't do a shopping list?
No, because it never works out, does it? I normally leave it on the kitchen table.
I was wondering, does anybody do a shopping list anymore? Because my mum always used to do a shopping list, and I don't think people do. If I'm being sent specific instructions by my wife, I will possibly write it down. But generally, you just go and have a little look-see, don't you?
But you buy lots of things that you didn't intend to, and you come back and you look in the cupboard, and oh dear, you haven't got any so-and-so.
Oh.
Okay, nice talking to you.
Yep.
Bye.
There we go. That's it. Joyce decides when that phone call ends. I like that.
I love Joyce.
Well, Kelly, you will never. You don't even know what a shopping list is, do you?
Who?
There we go. You see, Catherine.
Is it a band? I make a shopping list because otherwise I forget stuff. I plan my menus. It's that.
You do one of those. My friend, he has a blackboard
You've got a friend.
in his kitchen.
Yep.
I'm calling it a blackboard. What are you going to do about it? Sue me? They can't sue me, can they?
Who?
So he's got a board that he writes on in the kitchen.
Of what you've run out of.
No, and he plans out his menu for the whole week. So you'll go round there, and on a Sunday, the whole week is planned out.
Well, that's nice.
Is it? Or is it odd?
Well, I bet you don't end up eating beans with cheese on.
Oh, cheesy beans.
Because there's nothing else in the fridge.
Hey, who fancies a prisoners
Dixie.
later?
Me, I'm starving.
Dixies or prisoners?
Ian,
Dixies.
I'm about to dial Elizabeth up for the weather. What word shall I make her say during her weather bulletin? So far we've had boom shakalaka boom.
Yeah.
And sick.
Get her to say
Buftings?
Prisoners.
Buftings.
Buftings. What is Buftings? They're a band, weren't they? The Buftings.
Were they?
That's not my name. That's not my name.
The Ting-Tings.
I interviewed
Did we ever establish what her name was?
I did. I interviewed the Buftings once. Oh, dearie
The
me.
Ting-Tings.
They were not a good interview. Whatever happened to them? Nothing after that catchy novelty song. So that serves them right for being rude to me during an interview. The Buftings. Oh, wait.
Name's wrong. Lionel Blair did it to you this weekend, didn't he?
Oh, Lionel Blair thought I was called Lee. I was in a dressing room full of Lionel Blair, his agent, another Big Brother reject, and Dane Bowers, and they're all calling me Lee.
What's Dane Bowers doing in the mix?
Just, he's working it. He's working it. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound on the Luton Spur, there's one lane closed now between the Kidneywood roundabout and 10 for Luton Airport after an accident. Really slow on Airport Way and on the sensors, and also the surrounding routes struggling at the moment. In Clop Hill, there are queues on all of the approaches to the Clop Hill roundabout, and the M25 anti-clockwise very slow between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. On public transport, Virgin Trains have delays of up to half an hour possible on trains between Euston and Milton Keynes. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Alice, thank you very much indeed. .46, it's Monday, the 20th of January. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Disabled people take their case against the bedroom tax to the High Court today. Long-term supporters of Bletchley Park say they're upset by the modernisation of the attraction. I do apologise, little windy pops there. In cricket, Bedford's Alistair Cook is considering stepping down as England's one-day captain after another defeat by Australia. I think he should step down as an Englishman. 08459 455 555. Let's get the weather with Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Which is, below freezing.
Elizabeth, I'm so sorry. I had the wrong fader. Could we start again?
Yes, frosty. It's frosty.
There we go.
Frosty, might have to do some windscreen scraping, temperatures below freezing. We've got some mist and fog patches as well. They could be quite slow to clear, but we will see some brightness develop, particularly into the afternoon, some spells of sunshine. So some nice buffetings weather around today. Now, top temperatures of around 6 or 7 degrees, where we do get the best of the sunshine, but colder where we keep the mist and the fog for the morning. Now, as we head into this evening and overnight, again, all that mist and fog is going to reform, and I think it's going to be denser, it's going to be more extensive into tomorrow morning. It may well cause some travel problems. Temperatures down to around 1 or 2 degrees in the towns. Of course, a little bit lower than that in the rural spots. Now, for tomorrow, dry, rather grey and drab, though not too much in the way of buffetings, brightness and sunshine tomorrow, but at least it will stay dry until Tuesday evening into Wednesday, when we're likely to see some rain just spread in from the west. That's the forecast.
Thank you very much. Buffeting.
Roberto Perrone.
We'll talk about your partner's annoying habits. This after a woman filed for divorce after just 1 week. I know I snore and I snore badly, but I can't help it.
Roberto Perrone.
It's Friday. Why am I even bothering to go to work today? You've got to. You never know when a diving board suddenly appears in front of you and you've got to dive in. You need a lot of love, a bit of patience to keep a relationship going. Sometimes turn a blind eye.
Roberto Perrone. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
April has just confirmed that, yes, the London boys were killed in a car crash in Austria in 1996. 1996. What was the London boys song?
You're the love of my life.
My life. They also did... they also... Justin, what was the... Do you remember the other London boys song?
London Nights. Where the party's on and the feeling's right.
London Nights. They both died in a car crash, 1996.
I didn't know that. That's terrible.
And then one of the I don't know which one, but one of the gentleman's wife also died in a car crash.
This sounds like someone's been messing with Wikipedia.
No, honestly, it's London Nights. I want to party now when the feeling's right. London Nights.
Backflip.
They were
backflip.
You don't get. I miss those kind of 80s, early 90s kind of stock Aitken Waterman pop acts, where it's a weird
Milli Vanilli?
Milli Vanilli.
Yes.
Who?
The fake Milli Vanilli.
Who didn't sing on their own records.
They were fraudsters.
And then they brought out a record where it was them singing. It was awful. Who did Blame It on the Boogie? Not the Jacksons.
Oh, Big Fun.
Big Fun! What happened to Big Fun?
I don't know. Let's track them down.
Are they the ones who did Instant Replay? Or was that Instant Replay by Instant Replay?
No, I think they did do that, actually, yes. What they did a load of tacky cover versions that people went out and bought. Big Fun. Yeah.
I'm Googling them. I tell you why we're talking about it. We at the weekend, I was doing Big Brother, and Dane Bowers.
Oh, yeah.
From another was he another level?
Yes, he was, yeah.
And also the Sidesteppers. Was he in the Sidesteppers?
He did that cover. No, he did a duet. He did a duet with Victoria Beckham.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, with the Hot Steppers.
The Hot Steppers. But he's starting another boy band for this ITV2 show, The Reunion.
Leave it, Dane.
It's Dane, it's Kavanagh, it's Gareth Gates, and it's two other gentlemen. I can't remember who they are.
Forget Cream. This is a supergroup.
It is a supergroup.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they need to accept it's not their turn anymore.
Oh, no, I love stuff like... He's a very nice bloke, Dane Bowers, actually.
Is he?
Yeah, he was a really nice bloke.
No wonder he's happy. Have you seen the amount of attractive women that he's been out with over the years?
Yeah.
How does he do it?
Him and Gaffney.
Yeah, they work it. Anyway, Jess, we'll come to you in a second, so I want to talk to Steve in Redbourne first. Is that OK?
Yeah, cool.
Thank you very much indeed. Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you coping with Blue Monday?
I'm loving it. I'll be honest with you. I think you've blown Blue Monday out of the water, haven't you?
We've tried to work some anti-Blue Monday magic.
Yeah, it's been good. Good morning. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Oh, well, every bit of it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. You've made us all laugh, I think.
What, even this bit?
Boom shakalak.
That was fantastic, absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
That was the pinnacle of it, wasn't it, really?
Stephen, I'm so grateful that you and many other listeners have such low standards. It makes my job tenable.
Well, you don't know my standards myself, do I? You know, mine are so low, you ought to see programmes I watch.
Speaking of low standards, OK, look, Justin Dealey does a show on Saturday mornings, 9 till 12, OK? And I really want to big it up for him. So do you, first of all, Steve, do you listen to it?
I do, every Saturday.
And what do you think of it?
It's good. If you want anything playing, you just ring him up and ask him to play it.
Yeah. Have you ever called him up?
Yes, I have, and he played one of my favourite songs of all time, which is Cream Puff by Johnny Nash.
Did you play Cream Puff by Johnny Nash, Just?
I did indeed, yes.
Yeah, OK. Well, there you go. Steve, listen, I appreciate your input. Lot of good feedback, lot of good comps today, Justin.
Well, yeah, the thing is, though, Ian, we like to go under the radar with that programme.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Should I not have been mentioning it?
No, that's fine.
You're
we
right.
Like to discuss sneak under the radar.
That's how radio works, isn't it? We don't want people to listen.
No. But, you know, we just do a 3-hour show on a Saturday morning. We don't go around shouting about it. We keep under the radar, and we just do it every single week, and we leave it at that.
That's why you don't work in commercial radio. Because that's not the attitude at all. I've got a text here from Janet Iain, who texted me earlier and texted me most days. I most certainly do not send Mr. Lee a text every day. Well, she's listening and texting in.
That's 2 in 1 day.
There we go, Janet, making up for lost time. What have we got here? Alan in Luton says, Bletchley Park, I think it's an absolute disgrace what the management are doing, destroying some of the main attractions. And I've just Googled Big Fun. They were an English boy band, 1988 to 1994, featuring Phil Creswick, Jason Herbert. Don't know who the third one was. All 3 members of the band are gay, but were told by Pete... haven't times changed? But were told by Pete Waterman they could not come out as it would ruin their career. Isn't that funny?
It's hilarious.
After disbanding, Creswick became a painter and decorator, and John returned to being a model booker.
Big Fun were gay?
Oh. Justin, Blue Monday.
Yeah, apparently it's the most depressing day of the year.
We've had some giggles this morning, mate.
There's been some funny times.
We've had some giggles, some gigs and comps.
I told you earlier on what makes me really happy. Porky scratchings.
Oh,
Porky scratch.
Can you really get hairy ones?
You can do. And people, again, will back me up on this one. Porky scratchings, hairy porky scratchings, certainly make me happy. So, as it's Blue Monday today, the most depressing day of the year, I've been out into the streets this morning asking people if they are depressed and also what makes them happy. And here's what happened. Hey, Tom, good morning. It's Blue Monday, but you're smiling. You seem quite happy.
I am, because I'm going shopping.
Apart from shopping, what makes you happy?
Sex. S-E-X.
I know how to spell it. What about pork scratchings?
Not my favourites.
The hairy ones are delicious, aren't they?
You're changing my thoughts in my mind. That's what you're doing.
Philip, do you know what today is?
Oh, God, I can't even remember what the date is today. Monday.
It is Monday. It's Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year. Do you feel more depressed today?
No, not particularly.
Say something that's going to cheer our listeners up.
It's the start of a week. If it's Monday for you, it can really only get better, can't it?
What makes you happy, Philip?
Hanging out with my friends, reading a good book, listening to some music.
What about hairy pork scratchings? Do they make you happy?
Never really developed a taste for them.
When was the last time you tried them?
Last week, actually, down the pub. No, they were those kind of icky, soft, squidgy type ones rather than the crunchy ones, so I just thought not really worth bothering with.
Intercom man, good morning. Today it's Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year. Do you feel depressed?
I do this morning, yeah.
Tell us why.
I don't know, it's just something about the morning today.
So you go along with the fact there's something about today that's making you even more depressed?
Yeah, I would have to say so, yeah.
Interesting feedback. And what makes you happy? For me, it's pork scratchings. What about you? What makes you happy?
Getting home with my kids, to be honest.
It's a lovely answer. Intercom man, it's an absolute pleasure as always. Try and have a good day, won't you? Maxina, it's Blue Monday. It's the most depressing day of the year.
I've got the love of God in my soul and I'm always happy. I get up every morning and I feel blessed.
So did you wake up this morning and say, God, it's Blue Monday, help me?
I got up this morning and says, this is the day you have made and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bye.
Well, some very positive... excellent of that gentleman to spell S-E-X for any young ears that are listening.
It was very kind of him, very, very kind. But that's what makes him happy, that shopping and the occasional pork scratching.
I've had a tweet from Scott, who once bought a belly of pork, and it had a nipple on it. Does that happens, does it?
I suppose so. I mean, I don't go out and buy this stuff and cook it. It's
no, your mum does.
Me. Yeah, exactly. It's made for me. Yeah. So I wouldn't know.
Incredible stuff. I mean, I'm still toying with the idea of eating meat. I think I'm going to wait 6 months. I'm going to sit on it for 6 months.
I just think you're missing out. You know, I know why you want to become a vegetarian. I know why other people want to become a vegetarian. But when it comes to eating out, I just couldn't go out and not eat meat. That's just my personal opinion. Should
we put it to the test? You're going to come for a Dixie's with us after this?
I'll come for a Dixie's, yes.
Beautiful. We'll see you there, boss.
Thanks, bye.
Ta-ta. There we go. 08459 455 555. Dixie's is a code for a posh fry-up. It means that it's the posh fry-up we're going to go for today. A little bit classy. And also, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Which is... sorry?
Yes, it's that posh.
It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of cold scrambled eggs.
How many plates are you going to try and go for?
3.
3?
Minimum of 3.
Okay.
Look at Jonathan Vernon-Smith's face. He looks disgusted or excited.
He's happy. He's excited.
Listen, sack off the first hour of your show, get Tim to do it, and come and have a buffet with us. Or you can eat buffet.
I'd love to see Jibs at a buffet.
Oh, I bet he'd work it properly. He'd work it. He'll pile the bread around the side so you can get more on the plate.
Not only is it great food, you also get lovely views of Luton.
What are your... He's just whispered in my ear, Harvester trousers. They got an elastic waistband. Is that what it is? Yes, good lad. Well done. Well, that's it. We kind of petered out for the last 40 minutes, but never mind.
Do that.
Yeah, sometimes we have news.
Do we?
Not anymore. Not under the new regime.
You going to go fried or scrambled?
Scrambled first, fried second.
Ooh.
I might have fried egg on the scrambled egg.
No.
Egg on egg?
Yeah, egg on egg.
Wow.
Some hot egg on egg action. I say hot, it'll be cold and damp egg on egg action, but that's what's going to happen. Right, thank you very much, everyone who took part. I should just say... and this isn't just to fill up the last 40 seconds of the show, that there is a new podcast out. It was put out last Friday. It's a cracking one. It features the full interview with the Beds PCC, Ollie Martins. If you missed it last week... It is... Well, I was going to say it's the most uncomfortable interview I've ever done. Then I worked with Lionel Blair on Saturday. So... If you've not seen that, wow, Google that. It's one of the most uncomfortable interviews I've ever done. Ollie Martins comes on the air and admits that he had revealed top-secret, classified information to somebody else that he wasn't meant to. Very, very awkward. If you want to hear the full thing, you can go to the BBC iPlayer, or you can go and download the podcast by going to either the BBC Three Counties website or by going to iTunes and typing in Iain Lee BBC. Right, let's get the travel news now. Here's Alice.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound on the Luton Spur, there's a lane closed between the Kidneywood roundabout and 10 for Luton Airport after an accident. The accident...
No. Oh, Alice, I'm so sorry. I've got my microphone on and I'm talking to the production team. What a shoddy end to the show. Away you go. I'm glad I didn't swear.
Well, it's on the Luton Airport Spur after an accident, and it's very slow on the airport way and also the surrounding routes. M25 anti-clockwise, very slow between 20 for Kings Langley and 16 for the M40. The A5 also struggling towards the centre of Dunstable, slow from Chalk Hill there. Public transport has no reported problems. I'm Alice Glossop, BBC Three Counties.
I'm so sorry, Alice. Let's pretend this never happened, and we'll start again tomorrow, shall we?
Absolutely fine.
You're a very, very good sport. Let's get a professional broadcaster in. JVS, please, help us.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. I'll try. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Monday. It's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, do you think shoplifting is a serious crime? More people...